We're live. Oh, so anyways, what else have you been up to today? You said you went on your walk.
Yeah, I'm working on a cover. De'Aaron
Hello?
Fox is out for
Oh,
the season. Oh shit. See that?
and yeah, surgery.
Dang. Yeah, I went and got
Can you not hear
groceries
me?
and I hear you just fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. It was. I think there might have been a delay or something.
Is there a delay?
Uh, Maybe because I asked you that a couple seconds ago.
Oh, well, I hear you just fine. So
Okay, I'm gonna close down that tab that was running and see if this works a little bit better. Hmm.
yeah, I went and got groceries. Enjoyed walking around. It's a nice day outside, so enjoyed some sunshine.
Yeah, I went for a nice walk today. It was like real stormy earlier, and then it cleared up, so it then became like real sunny. I'm always tripped out when that happens, where it'll be like thunderstorms at like noon, and then at 1 it's like clear skies. It just moved past us really fast.
You get like cloud cover in the morning there when you wake up, like foggy and misty.
Yeah, but more so in the winter. Like, it comes in from the Bay Area for sure, but it's usually a little bit south of here. Uh but when it's more like winter, then it's definitely gets really foggy. But it's not too bad around this time of year.
When I lived in San Diego, man, it was like the craziest fog I ever saw. It was
Yeah.
like you wouldn't be able to see in front of your face. And
Yeah,
it would
we
just all
like
be gone by like noon. It would just all burn up.
yeah, that happens for sure. Like especially in Manteca, I felt like growing up, it was like real thick fog, especially uh like December, February, January. I love the weather, bro.
Weather's awesome. Weather's
The
sick.
weather's so sick. Doo-doo-doo.
I was walking home from the grocery store. There was this old lady walking in front of me, and she kept pausing like every couple steps and just staring up and like looking up at the sky. And I'm like, oh, is she okay? And then when I got over and I saw her, she was just sitting there with a smile on her face, just like looking at the sky, like breathing in the air.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, that's beautiful. I can't. I want to be like that when I'm like 75 or whatever.
It's like yeah, like being able to suppress everything and just like appreciate the moment. I feel like I'm getting better about doing that when I go on my walks and I stop. Like I'll go walk somewhere, stop at like the park and just like breathe for a little bit. Just like take it in. But I'm always listening to something, so it's not quite the same. I can't wait to where I'm like so zenned out that I'm not even listening to shit. I'm just like really taking in the energy of the universe. You know what I mean?
Sure, that'd be sick.
Do
Gotta meditate, man.
unrelated, completely the opposite energy though. I was at the fucking Trader Joe's today, and it was like every aisle was like pretty long. So at that point you just take like it's like a roulette. You just go into an aisle and you're not sure which one is going to be the one that fucks you. And I feel like I have the worst record of getting into the one that fucks me. Like I feel like I'm never not screwed by whatever aisle I choose. But today was like so egregious because there was one lady with like a bunch of groceries, like a basket full, but everybody had basket full of groceries, right? And so I'm waiting in line behind her. It's her turn, and then her like daughter walks up, like an 8-year-old with a separate basket. Like at Trader Joe's, they have like little baskets for like children to push around. So then she comes up with like a bunch of items as well. So that lady, they go through her whole basket, and something happens that I've never seen before, which was they're taking out the groceries from the basket, and there's a fucking like one of her kids is sleeping in the basket, like fully passed out. There were groceries on top of the kid. There was like eggs and fucking bread and shit, and I was like, "What in the fuck?" The kid was like just passed out, and so then they bag all the groceries, and then she pays. Then they have the kid do their groceries, which was like a separate small basket, but it was also full of stuff. Then they have to do her stuff, and like hers took so long that I'm like looking at both other aisles that I could have went into, and they're like gone, you know. And now I'm like, oh, I should have just maybe should I cut out now and just go into one of these other lines? But I'm like, no, it's not that serious, you know. Like I've already waited for a little bit, like because she wasn't the only person ahead of me. It was like her and two other people. So like, but I'm like looking now. Now it's like a time assessment of like how badly I fucked this up. And then after the little girl, like they bag all of they scan all of her stuff, bag it up. The lady has to pay for her kids like groceries. She starts paying with a card that does not work. And like I don't know what the situation was. I don't know what the deal was, but like they had to call a manager. The manager came over. It wasn't like she didn't have money. It wasn't like declined. It was like the card just wouldn't like read in the chip reader. So now I'm like using most of my energy to not look super fucking annoyed. Like cuz I know how my face looks. I know that I'm going to look fucking mad and like aggravated. So I'm just like trying to tap into like some zen energy so that I'm not just like this fucking idiot. What the fuck is like why didn't she just get all the groceries at once with the other card that she would have used? Why is she have a whole separate checkout for her daughter's groceries? What the fuck is all these thoughts are running through my head. But I'm just like outside I'm like this, just like stone face like like trying to not like seem affected by it. Internally though, it's like I'm enraged. I'm like so fucking pissed off. And you know, I, I'm thinking about like how did this lady have groceries stacked on her fucking kid for like this entire time? Just like every one of these thoughts. And then like the lady finally goes, like the manager comes, they do the card, everything's good. I had three things. I had like some I bought some of those like fake Trader Joe's onion rings that are delicious, and I bought some seltzer water. That was it.
What are
That's
they?
all I went for.
Fake onion rings. What are they made out of? That's not up.
Oh, hold on, let me tell you. There are these things right here. There's sour cream and onion rings. They're made of lentil
Oh,
and rice.
oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Pretty
Yeah,
per
that's
serving,
awesome.
130 calories. Not too bad. And there's like two
They're like
servings
they're
per
like
bag.
like almost like vegan onion rings or something.
Yeah, I don't know if they're vegan. It
Oh,
contains milk.
lentils.
Contains milk.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, mostly made of red lentils and rice meal.
That's nice.
So they're pretty good. But so that was like I was on my way out, so I just grabbed him real quick, But I mainly went for seltzer because I was out. But yeah, man, I was like every time I go to the grocery store, I'm like trying to not like just seem like I'm just so annoyed by like everybody else. And it's because like it's nobody else's fault that, like this kind of stuff happens, that I'm like inconvenienced. But in my head, I'm like, I'm just suppressing the urge to be like, you fucking idiot. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, the key to the line is the approach. You got to like really gaze at your surroundings and like try to plan ahead. Like it's like you're breaking down a defense.
Every time I think I'm goddamn Sherlock Holmes of like, okay, so this
This
person
person's
has
got
this
five
many.
things. You got to look at the person who's ringing them up too. Like how slow is this motherfucker?
I think every time I think I've done the math. I think I've done the like algorithmic like overview of the situation, and every time I'm wrong. This is why I would be a bad gambler, dude, because I'm always placing the wrong bets.
Yeah, but you got a good poker face. You're not like exploding. So
that's great. I could have a great poker face while I'm losing every hand.
just gotta bluff all the time.
Yeah,
Always
what's
bluff.
up, Ibrahim?
What up?
I was telling Tony about how I'm just like the worst person when it comes to picking a line at the grocery store like during checkout, because every time I manage to get behind somebody who has something. And today it was this lady, and like I didn't mention this, Tony, but like the entire time too, I'm judging everything about her. I'm like, why do you have these long ass nails? You can't press the fucking button on the keypad. Like like she has long ass eyelashes, like fake eyelashes, and I'm just like, to go to Trader Joe's, what is wrong with you? Come on.
Yeah, angry man.
Dude, I remember like going to this coffee shop and the dude had like a bun, like a top knot kind of thing. And I was just like, this motherfucker, like for no good reason, you know, just like, I think it was back then, you know, this was like 10 years ago now, but I think knowing what a hard time I had in my life, like finding work because of, you know, like post 9/11, anytime I see like a white dude who just like looks like he's trying to not be hireable, I get really pissed knowing that he would get the job over me, you know? So it's like, fuck this guy kind of thing.
Yeah, I was telling Tony, like, it takes up so much of my mental energy to not be like, to look mad outwardly while I'm pissed off. You know what I mean?
Like, to not look mad, or
yeah, to just like, so like internally I'm fuming, but on the outside I'm like this.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like, it's taken everything in me to just not be like, just like fuming with like steam coming out of my ears and shit.
When I used to take the train, like downtown and stuff, I would have headphones in and I would purposely just look as pissed as I could. And sometimes I'd breathe hella heavy just so nobody would talk to me. And it always worked because people always come up to me, hey bro, you got a cigarette? Or that kind of shit. And like, I just didn't want to deal with, you know, the crazies. So I would just look hella mad.
Dude, I get so many people asking me for cigarettes. I must look like a dirtbag because they're like, hey, you got a cigarette, man? I'm like, no. Like, you got a lighter? I'm like, no, man, I don't smoke. Like,
Sophie says it must be tough for Ramon because he already has resting bitch face when neutral. That's crazy. I mean, I do. The thing is, it's not resting bitch. I just look like an angry person. I wouldn't say that's resting bitch face. I just look like I'm hostile. You know, it's actually served me well most of my life because, like, what you're talking about when you were on the bus, when I used to ride the bus, I didn't have to pretend. That was my face. I looked mad. I looked angry at the world. Sophie says that's the definition of resting bitch face. No, it's not. Because I don't look like a bitch. I look like
not according to
the one
her.
who knocks. You know what I mean?
Saying you look like a bitch.
Serious Slack with Serious Black says top knots did seem to cause some sort of anger inside me. I get it.
I mean, dude, you live in Portland, which is like the top knot capital of the world, probably.
Yeah,
you know Serious Slack.
Serious Black, yeah, that's my very dear friend Sean.
Oh,
check out his channel. He's been doing like reaction videos and stuff.
What's he reacting to?
A bunch of different hip hop stuff, and like he reacted to this one that was like this. I don't remember if the band was called Bollywood, but it's like this Indian like new metal sounding music. It was pretty sick, actually. Yeah,
that's fire.
Yeah.
Well, it's 6:30, so I guess we can now formally start the show. Hello, everyone. Welcome to New Cool Meat Podcast, the #1 comic book podcast that's not about comic books. That's it. You know what I mean? It's me. I'm the host, Ramon Villalobos, and here with my co-host, as always, Tony Gregori.
Gregori?
What's that? I said
Tony.
What'd you say? He said Tony Gregori.
Did I really? Maybe my connection had hit a snafu. I didn't think so.
Yeah, that's all right.
I feel like I delivered it perfectly, but maybe I did fuck up.
It's all good.
And also with me, Ibert Mustafa.
I was waiting for it.
How you guys doing?
What's funny is like it's hard to mess up my name more on purpose than people do on accident. You know what I mean?
How are you guys doing today?
I'm chilling. I had a dentist appointment today.
Oh yeah, what happened there?
Oh, they gave me a gold star, man. They said, "Wow, you're so good at brushing and flossing. We barely had to do anything."
Gave you a lollipop.
Yeah,
we won't eat this.
Yeah, but I had to order a new night guard, so they had to do the like the imprint thing of my teeth, you know, and they always like overload the tray thing with the mixed stuff that takes, you know, makes the mold of your teeth. And so it always ends up just like choking you. Like there's just like this shit as they push up on it. It just oozes into the back of your throat. And I'm like, did they not know how to do, like, I've never had it done where that didn't happen, but you know, I needed it because I'm always grinding, bro. I'm grinding awake, I'm grinding in my sleep. I just stay on it.
All your life.
Grinding all my life.
Yeah, you
How was your day, Tony?
It was okay. I was just walked around and went to the grocery store, worked on this cover, hung out with Dory, talked to my uncle. Yeah. I had a bad gout flare up yesterday, so I was laid up for a day. So
no.
today, yeah, I feel better today,
today?
though. Yeah, a lot better. I just napped all day and drank water and watched like shitty YouTube videos.
Hell yeah.
Any good YouTube videos?
I watched this one dude who watched all of the Rocks movies, and he like broke them down as far as like their era, and like I just watched really dumb shit because I knew I was like falling in and out of consciousness, just napping. So I was like, I'm not gonna put on anything that's like gonna upset me or
challenge you mentally.
Yeah, watch these this channel Comic Pop. They do like comic read throughs kind of, and this guy Sal who hosts the channel, he like goes over all these runs with his friends, you know, and it's pretty good. He's like a real knowledgeable, funny dude. So I put that on and just kind of like fell asleep and woke up, and then they're talking about like Ultron or something, and I, you know, pay attention for like 20 minutes and zonk out again.
I do that sometimes. If I know I'm sleepy, I'll put on something that's like low engagement need from me, and I'll just fucking let myself drift off.
Dude, by the way, Ibrahim, the thing I told you about the other day, not on the show, just like outside, but I've been falling asleep watching YouTube videos lately, and I'll wake up and there will be like Muslim content playing on my thing. like stuff about like the Quran, like lessons that are like lectures, and I'm like, I'll wake up and I'll be like, what is happening? Like, what are they talking about? And then I'll be like, the Quran. I'm like,
that's tight. Do you you wake up and you just like you feel the need to like point toward like the northeast for some reason and you don't know why?
Well, what's hella crazy is like the last one that happened with, I woke up and like a lecture had already played, and then also what was playing was like a chill beats to study to, but of like Arab music, which was crazy because in my dream, I vividly remember dreaming, and then like the rhythm of the people talking in my dream was to this song because I was like half awake or whatever. So I woke up and I'm like, yo, what the fuck is happening to me?
Like, brother, you know who else the word came to in his sleep? The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him.
Bro, imagine if it was I was next in line, like somehow in all the world it was like he chose me, Allah.
Dude, that'd be crazy.
That would be wild. Just virtue of YouTube algorithm. Just like now I'm a prophet of Islam.
That's the new that's how the new like prophets will come about, dude, is like
just algorithms.
Yeah, algorithms.
When the Catholic Church has to get a new pope, they're gonna use AI.
Yeah. That's crazy though. Have you learned anything interesting?
No. Like even less than normal.
Oh, you have to pay attention, brother.
I know. I have thought about just straight watching them because I'm like, well, I'm in. You know what I mean? Like, I can't avoid it at this point. Like, I might go to a mosque and just be like, all right, I give up.
Your new Muslim name is Rahman.
Oh shit, that's kind of sweet. Rahman.
that's brother Rahman.
How crazy would it be to introduce myself to that when I walked in?
Like, dude, you would be embraced. They would welcome you. They'd find a spot for you on the prayer mat.
It would be so sick. They were like, they would be like, do you choose Allah as you? Wow, how would they do that? what would they ask me? Like, if I'm truly Muslim, like, would they just be like,
They don't run like
it's not
checks
like
or anything. It would
it's
just
not like Catholicism, because Catholicism they'll be like, all right, come up here, let's see if you've taken the blood of Christ.
no, they would just be like, "Oh, welcome, brother," and then they might ask if you want to lead the prayer, but you don't have to.
You know what I would say?
But that would be I found out you were full of it, that you were fake.
I would say, I'd start going
like,
off with my cameo shit.
That's how they would know for sure that you
Or a fraud, not
yeah,
a new
like,
prophet.
you have to like know a few very basic things to lead a prayer, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's not like sitting down and saying like, "Heavenly Father, we," it's like
you can't just bullshit it.
you're like reciting from the Quran, you know?
Yeah. I'd be
Oh
fucked if I had
man,
to become a Muslim. I'm not good at that kind of stuff.
speaking of
Leadership.
religion, my nephew was out here this weekend, and I took him to this like food court thing we have out here, and there was a band setting up.
Oh
And
shit.
there's this older guy named Andre, and he was the first thing. My nephew and I are sitting outside at like a picnic table thing, and he pulled his car up and he's unloading his drum set, and he's like, "Oh, you guys just take a break. Don't worry about it." To us, like just kind of joking around. And then he starts talking to us, and he's barring out, dude. He's like my nephew's name is David. He's like, "What's your name, young man?" He says David. He's like, "Oh, you can rant and rave, and your name is Dave." And he's like singing everything in rhyme to us. Everything he said it rhymes in some way, and it was all about the Lord and stuff. I mean, it was like we were getting our own little gospel sermon right there. And he was the coolest dude. He kept saying like, "Oh, I'm glad I met you today. Oh, I'm glad God put you in my path today." And he like gave us a hug at the end and stuff. Like it was actually pretty cool.
I remember one
and then he was
time.
like, "That guy's awesome."
Yeah, it's like when religious people are cool, they can like really get away with a lot. But when they have no juice, when they got no swag, when they got no sauce to them, there's like nothing worse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I remember one time me and my buddies were like sitting down in high school eating pizza for lunch, and this guy came up and he was like, "Jesus loves you." And we were like, "Okay, thanks." Like, what am I supposed to say to that? You know what I mean? Like, you don't know that for sure, and you got no aura, you know?
You know what he would say to that? "Yes, I do."
You know what? At that time, I don't think Jesus would love me. He would have to. It would be a lot of like. It would have been whatchamacallit. It would have been like one-sided love. It would have been unrequited for sure from Jesus at that point in my life. Now I'd be okay with it though.
Wouldn't be reciprocated.
Yeah.
Bruh.
I think Jesus would love all three of us.
Now for sure, because we're so cool. But at that time, I was not cool though. I was a little edgelord.
Well, you saw one set of footprints. That was Jesus.
True.
Carrying you through your cringe years.
Have you ever? Do you feel like you've ever seen Jesus?
To give in to the Lord.
What's that?
Said you were an edgelord, but you needed to give in to the Lord.
Yeah. Have you ever seen like Jesus? Have you ever felt like you've been in the presence of like a Christ-like figure or anything?
No, because I don't believe that Jesus is real. So that's probably.
What about you, Ibrahim?
No, but I think because I don't. I mean, I believe Jesus was a guy who probably existed, but I
been a bunch of them.
it is. Well, you know what I mean. Like I think there was a Jesus Prime that
the main Jesus,
has been like extrapolated on over the years to the point where it's a cartoonish thing now. But as far as like a representation of Jesus, a good friend of mine. Well, a good friend of mine who actually Sean is very close with, this dude Alan. He's just like his dad was a pastor, and he's just like the best dude I know. Like, and I think as far as somebody who tries to act in a way that like in accordance with their belief in Jesus and like try to carry that out in real life, like he's the closest thing I think I've ever seen to it.
the closest thing I've ever seen to it. This Monday, I went to go see the Warriors play, baby. I saw
knew
Steph Curry hit
I
5
fucking
threes in
knew
that
it.
motherfucker. I went for 7, couldn't do it because the Portland Trailblazers, you know, they sold out to make sure he didn't break the record on him. But man, what a great timeout. You know what I mean?
What's the record?
Well, he has the record, so every time he shoots a 3, he breaks the record. But what I meant to say was he was going to get 4,000 threes. So
he already broke his own record this season.
Oh, he broke like the all-time record. So like every 3 he shoots is the most threes that's ever been shot in an NBA game. You know what I mean? Or in an NBA career.
Career. Okay. I didn't know if it was
career,
career or
like
season
total.
or what. Yeah.
Yeah. So like he was trying to get to 4,000, like a nice even number, but he would have needed 7. So like it's to start out that day we're like, 7's a lot. But then after the first quarter we're like, he can get 7 today for sure. The way he's shooting, it was so cool. You know what was so cool about it is like I've been watching the Warriors play basketball for like 10 years. This guy specifically, of like just him seeing it on TV. And for the longest time, I didn't want to go to games because I had this mentality of like, why go to a game when I can experience it just as well at home on my TV? You know what I mean? Like better even because I'm seeing it up close. You know. But a dude who is awesome and who is giving me tickets to Niners games, I did a commission for him. Super cool guy named Mark. He hit me up and asked if I wanted tickets to go watch the Warriors play because he has season tickets for that too. And I was like, yeah, you know, definitely. So me and my aunt went up. My aunt, who I lived with when I was in high school for a while, when I was at my most edgelord. So you know, God bless her. We drove up. She drove up because I hate driving in the city. And you know, like she looks after my grandma. She has like a nephew. She has a son who doesn't like sports at all. Reads comics, watches like movies and stuff. Like is a big film guy now. But you know, just
that's
has
his
no
mom.
interest. What's that? Yeah, his mom.
That's
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
But like, you know, so she'll be like, you know, Mijo, come watch basketball, and he'll be like, no, I don't want to. And so like, but we used to watch basketball when I used to live with her when I was in high school. So and she'll hit me up about, you know, the Warriors like every big game or whatever. So I asked her if she wanted to go and she was like, yeah, hell yeah. So we went up. It was fucking awesome, you know.
That's great.
It was like we had pretty good seats too from this dude, and it was like a fun ass like just day out, you know.
Nice.
The one thing that sucked is like it used to be in Oakland. Like, you know, the Warriors used to play in Oakland. They moved to like downtown San Francisco. What a nightmare.
Yeah,
San Francisco, to me, maybe the most beautiful city, like definitely in California, maybe my favorite looking city just visually, because it's got like the redwood forest, it's got it's ocean, you know, like it's got everything. But it's just become this like tech wasteland, you know.
Yeah.
Like people complain about it because oh, there's so much crime, there's so much, you know, unhoused people. I didn't even see that because the area that we were at was like pretty cleaned out. But dude, there is just so many the traffic is so bad. There's so many people that are just like walking around that look like dickheads. Not that they are, but just they look like it because they're like in the Patagonia vest,
buns
like,
on their heads and shit.
No, they're different now.
They wear Patagucci, man.
They wear the Patagucci, and they got like the real tight Dockers on, you know, and they're like they just look like tech guys, and they look like it looks so annoying. But you know, shout out to them, you know, because most of them that I saw were going to the fucking Warrior game too. But we the biggest problem, and it's going to lead into our story, is like the stories that I have lined up. But the biggest problem is the Waymos, because when we left the city, you know what Waymos are, Ibrahim?
Yeah, the driverless cabs, right?
Right, yeah. Leaving the city to get like the 5 blocks that it took for us to get from the arena to the freeway, it took, I'm not kidding, like 45 minutes. Because traffic was so congested, because everywhere we looked there were just like this swarm of driverless cars looking for rides to pick up from people. There were so fucking many that like they were just they it was like they had infested the city, man. Like it was insane. And we had done a story about it. I don't think you were here, but we did a story about like
those kids like beat up that car. They like wrecked it.
Yeah, they like destroyed it. And there was other stories too where like people will like spray paint them, like they'll spray paint like dicks on them and like all kinds of crazy shit while people are inside of it sometimes. It's like the same thing that's happening with the Teslas is happening with these Waymos. And the difference is they're only in 2 cities right now. They're only in San Francisco and LA. But I was doing some reading and research about them because I was just like, when we first saw one, when we got off the freeway to go into the city, my aunt was like, what is that thing? Like on the top of that car? Because they have like these like spinning like sensor things on the hood.
Yeah.
And have you seen that people could put like traffic cones on them and it fucks them up?
No.
Yeah, like it confuses them because it can't sense what's around it anymore.
It just seems like
that's
such
funny, but it's also
idea.
dangerous. Yeah, it seems so dangerous. Like,
just in general, like the Waymos in general is crazy.
Yeah, well, the
like,
thing is,
I don't
like,
want to be on the road with. I don't want to be on the road with people who are thinking behind the wheel. You know.
Well, the interesting thing about them is they are so concerned about the initial reaction of people was having that, which was like, I don't trust robot cars. So what they've done is they've made them extra safe. So these cars take no risks. So like what happened was when I was on the street with them, with me and my aunt, was one of them tried to make like a left turn into like we were at an intersection and it was like sort of perpendicular and it was going to turn like left to go the direction we were going. But so it started, but it stopped because it sensed that a train was going to be coming, but the train wasn't coming. So it just stopped in the middle of the intersection. Like 3 cars were piled up behind it, trying to like move around it because they all could see there's no actual train. The train stopped. And then the train coming the other direction was also trying to turn right to go to the same direction that the other train was coming from. So now there's 2 trains waiting for this one car with nobody in it to just pass them. But they couldn't.
That's insane.
Because the car won't make that risk to be like, oh, the train is stopped. I can go. So then like other cars were having to like weave around that car to get, we waited at this traffic light for like, I think like 3 cycles waiting for this fucking car to go through. It was insane.
You're talking about like getting over anger problems. The young version of me would have lost my fucking shit. Like I would have gone out and vandalized something.
What's up, Brian?
I would have broken a window. Hey, what's up, Level?
We're talking about up, Tony?
A driverless car.
Hell yeah! I remember back in the old days. The only time I ever saw somebody just generally fuck up a car was this guy Richie I went to high school with, and we were all gonna go watch Stained and Kid Rock perform at a grocery store.
That's
way back in the day.
Yeah, I gotta don't bury the lead. What's that?
That's a hard ass gig.
Yeah, dude, it was tough. And I can't remember who the opening guy was. It was before Kid Rock, either right as soon as he was dropping that first Ball with the Ball album or whatever, or right after he.
Devil Without a Cause, sure.
Yeah, we were more there for Stained, because Mud Shovel whipped ass or whatever.
Yeah.
Young. But this dude Richie just like somebody was trying to, because it was an old grocery. Well, it was a functional grocery. It just had shows on the weekends, and this car would come in, was trying to like cut through the fucking line to get into the venue. So they're just driving slow. So like they're just literally pushing through the fucking crowd. So Richie just stomped the shit out of the car. Pretty, and he was like some 16-year-old kid.
Ramon was talking about the driverless cars in San Francisco, and I was just saying that the younger version of me would have definitely lost my shit.
Yeah, I was telling him that it's a scourge there, because these cars, to avoid the perception of them being unsafe, they're like overly safe. So there's no aggressive driving, which you kind of need in San Francisco, which is why I don't drive there. You know what I mean? And it's kind of the same in LA from what I understand. And one of the things that I saw about these cars, a new article from Washington Post, is that these driverless taxis got 589 parking tickets in San Francisco last year. That's because they just like, they're programmed to like just be ultra safe
Block shit?
and like passive.
Yeah.
It's extremely passive driving. So like, yeah, they'll just like stop in the middle of the road if they think something's going to go wrong. I also saw a story about some guy who had like programmed that he needed to get dropped off at the airport, and I don't know if you guys have ever had this happen, like an Uber or a Lyft or whatever. But sometimes if you just say like I need to get to the airport, it'll try to drop you off like on the tarmac, like the thing will. But
Oh, wow.
if there's a person there, you can be like, oh, this is a mistake. You need to like drop me off like at the departure center place or whatever.
Right.
But in this guy, he was like recording. He was recording it on like TikTok or whatever. He got taken to the airport and it was just driving in circles. And there was no way for him to tell it to stop. He missed his flight because it just drove around in circles.
Dude, that's
And it was trying to drop him off at a place that it couldn't go. And there was nobody to tell that to because he's just in there with nobody.
Who owns these things? Like they've got to, it's frustrating that like whatever private company owns this thing is like
Alphabet, by the way.
clogging up traffic, and then like who knows if they're even paying these parking tickets or not? Because there's
they're
no
not
licenses to
currently.
revoke,
Yeah.
right? I mean, yeah.
Here's the story.
That's crazy.
Alphabet's Waymo autonomous vehicles are programmed to follow the rules of the road as they ferry passengers around the city. They abide by speed limits, use turn signals, and delight tourists. I've heard that's a thing too. On this podcast I listened to from this like tech reporter in LA, she was talking about like a lot of the Waymos are mainly used by people from out of town because they like see them and they're like, oh, this is so cute. This is so fun. Let's take a driverless cab. But like the actual people in the city are kind of resentful of them because those were jobs that humans were doing like 2 months ago. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mhm.
So like it completely like, they're like, fuck these things, like they get the same energy as like Teslas are.
Dude,
right
I
now.
was in LA like 10 years ago or something for some friends of mine worked for an airline up here and they got us like a free ticket to just fly down to LA and we went to Universal Studios for the day,
Mhm.
right? And the plan was to like literally fly down for the day, come back same day. And there was an ice storm up here because it was January, but it was like 70 in LA, right?
Yeah.
So our flight got delayed, but or canceled or something. So we had to try to get a different one. And so we had to get, instead of going to the Bob Hope Burbank airport, we had to go to LAX. So we had an Uber or Lyft driver show up. And this fucking guy was a surgeon in the streets of LA, dude. Like,
oh yeah,
it was wild. Like, we basically said, like, look, here's the deal, man. If you think you can get us there, and he's like, oh, for sure. And like, he was all surface streets, stayed off the highway. He got us there in exactly the right amount of time. That's not happening. You get in one of those cars. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's exactly what I mean. Like I did the same thing in LA. Like LA Uber drivers and Lyft drivers, they were on that crazy taxi shit, dude. They were like listening to The Offspring in their mind as they were getting you to where you needed to go. This one guy was like, I'm about to run this red light. And I was like, oh shit. And he was like, no, it's cool. And he like did it. And I was like, what in the fuck?
Trust me, man, it's chill.
Yeah, he was like, nah, I know this light. It's good. I was like, god damn, dude. But like he let me know, like, oh, trust me, I know this light. I'm about to run it. It's going to be no problem. But yeah, obviously these Waymos are not going to do that. It says they do, however, also routinely violate parking laws. Waymo's vehicles driving themselves received 589 tickets for parking violations in 2024, according to the records from San Francisco's Municipal Transportation Agency. The company initially limited signups for its robotaxi services in the city, but made it open to all in June. The robots incurred $65,000 and $65,065 in fines for violations such as obstructing traffic, disobeying street cleaning restrictions, and parking in prohibited areas. According to a data analysis by the San Francisco Standard, nearly 1.2 million parking tickets worth almost 119 million were issued through the city in 2024. Waymo vehicles without drivers received an additional 75 tickets in LA in 2024, with $534 in fines still outstanding. According to the records from the LA Department of Transportation, the company started offering limited commercial service in LA in April and opened to everyone in November. So like that's only $500, but they've only been able to do it since like 1 month of the year. Parking violations are one of the few ways to quantify how often self-driving companies vehicles break the rules of the road. Operators have to report any collisions that result in damage, injury, or death to the California Department of Motor Vehicles. The DMV maintains a database of consumer complaints, but many incidents are never formally reported. Some parking violations, such as overstaying in a paid spot, cause inconvenience but do not directly endanger other people. Others increase the risks of crash, said Michael Brooks, executive director of Center for Auto Safety. Anytime a vehicle is obstructing the flow of traffic, I mean, this is obvious. But this is also, by the way, what I saw constantly. Oh shit! My boy Salt says they're so annoying. They slow down the bus lines. That's what I'm saying. Like
What up, Salt?
everywhere I went was just hella congested in that downtown area because there was like 5 of them in a row, and like otherwise those streets would be empty. You know what I mean?
It does make you wonder if there's like anybody who's lost their job for tardiness. By taking
Right. I was just thinking that. Yeah.
Yeah, had to have. Yeah, I don't blame people
it
for
was the
fucking
Waymo.
analyzing these things. Yeah.
Waymo
Sure.
spokesperson Ethan Teicher said in an email that safety is the company's highest priority, both for people who choose to ride with us and for whom we share the streets. He added that Waymo's cars are designed to take the safest action possible during the fewest minutes we are picking up or dropping off riders, which is when many of these parking citations occurred. If the vehicles can detect if they're blocking traffic and recognize appropriate parking spaces, Teicher said, but they'd pull over in a commercial loading zone to drop off a rider. If the only other available locations are congested arterial road or somewhere much further from where the rider needed to go, the company's vehicles can also, quote, park briefly between trips if far away from a Waymo center. It's like, yeah, they will break the law sometimes if it's safe
Yeah, but
enough.
they only do it when they need to like drop somebody off though, which is like when most of us park in a place we're not fucking supposed to. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. The thing is, like, they don't need to be there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? At all. Period.
Well, if Waymo can update their fucking models and make the cars have a person in there who smokes cigarettes and tells one-liners and gives good fucking references for restaurants, then maybe I would consider it. But until then, I'm fucking out.
Yeah.
This one guy in this podcast I was listening to, he was like he's like a professor of like ethics and robots or whatever, and he was talking about how like a lot of these things get beat up, but he was like, I bet if there was like a human looking robot in the driver's seat that maybe did do stuff like that would be like, hello, where are you trying to go? Like, you know, had like a friendly voice and like looked like a person driving instead of it just being like a ghost driving the car. Like, people might be less likely to destroy them, which they're doing right now. You know,
If they're destroying the Dragulas that are around town,
well, these things are being like
Dragula.
these things are being like vandalized at like a crazy rate, or you know, they're enough that it's like sparking concern. You know,
Well,
what's funny? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
The only information I have about these is what I've been on here for a matter of minutes, and I can comfortably tell you I already hate them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, a lot of people seem to. I mean, like for the reasons like it cost people jobs. You know, that's money that would have went into the economy, and now it's just like going to some tech company.
If I'm being completely honest with you though, if I just showed up and you said, so anyway, self-driving cars, I would probably already hate it just from
Yeah.
Like just
But there's that. There's just that general response to any kind of like AI thing. You know, like. There's a lot of reasons to hate these things and not many reasons to like them.
Right.
Salt says, I don't know if you've seen the ads, but the ads here in San Francisco advertise how you can fuck in them. Really? The windows aren't tinted. You could look inside of them. That's crazy. I haven't seen the ads because as you know, I live in the valley, so we don't get that out here yet. You know, thank God, luckily. But I remember when Uber started, and I was kind of hesitant towards that as well until I like really fucked up my ankle one time, and I just needed a ride, and I was like, God, I guess I'm just gonna fucking call an Uber, you know. And actually, the lady that picked me up, weirdly, had an uncle that knew me because she saw all my comic book shit. She's like, "What's all that?" I'm like, "Oh, this is my like drawing stuff. I'm an artist." Like, "Oh, what do you draw?" I said, "Comic books." And she's like, "Oh," and then like randomly, like small town, you know, but Salt says the ads show people like half undressed. It's nuts. That's crazy.
That's funny.
It says San Francisco transit operators lost 2 hours and 12 minutes of service times in 2024 because of Waymo vehicles blocking or colliding with transit vehicles. Wait, blocking is one thing. Colliding with is kind of insane. Which is crazy because I was like, this was the problem that I had with them was like, we were stuck for so long behind this Waymo that was like blocking the train from being able to go. And I was like, this has to happen literally all the time. Like, and apparently it does. God. I love
That's so
that, like,
aggravating.
I love that fucking tech people have found a problem when they thought they were finding a solution to a problem that didn't exist. Like, they created a problem instead of solving a thing that didn't need to be fixed.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, it not only fucks up traffic for people in cars, it also fucks up, like, public transportation for people who are, like, good enough to use buses and, you know, shit like that.
Well, I was trying to think, like, what's the public good for these things? What's the point? Like, it's not like you're taking cars off the road, which is like the idea is like you want to have greater public transportation to have less people driving. This doesn't do that. It just adds cars and no one driving it. And some faceless corporation's making money off of it. And it's taking money out of people's pockets. It's just,
This is funny. At the end of it, it says Sterling Haywood, 45, who's been a parking control officer with SFMTA for 17 years, recalls giving a Waymo autonomous vehicle a parking ticket in the city's Missions District in January. The Waymo was parked in a spot during the hours designated for street cleaning, Haywood said. Quote, I gave it some courtesy. I gave it the same courtesy I would have given it if someone were in the car, Haywood said in a phone interview. He honked once, he said. Then he honked a second time. The car didn't move, so he placed a $96 ticket on the window. I love that he saw there was nobody in there. He was like, honk, honk. Right after he wrote the ticket, Haywood said a passenger hopped in the Waymo and the car drove off. Oh, shout out to our guy Doug. He says, "What's up, guys? Nice to join live. Nice to see you, Doug.
What's up, Doug?
Hope you're having a good afternoon." Speaking of human innovation, human technology, I saw a story that I must have accidentally closed down, but let me open it up again. Archaeologists found a 1.5 million year old bone tools that show that early humans were unexpected geniuses. So the story goes, a collection of 27...
Wait, what's the source on this? I want to make sure you're not reading from like paranormalnews.org or whatever.
This is from Popular Mechanics.
Okay.
Yeah, from Tim Newcomb. Well, listen, here's the thing about my stories on the show, Brian. Everything comes from Yahoo News.
That's fair.
But Yahoo News is the ultimate aggregator. They just take articles from everybody. He says, a collection of 27 1.5 million year old bone tools discovered in Tanzania shows that early humans had the ability to systematically make tools about 1 million years earlier than scientists thought. Scientists may not have been given early human ancestors enough intellectual credit, as evidenced by a new find in Tanzania. Researchers discovered 27 now fossilized bones that were shaped into hand tools, an estimated 1.5 million years ago by hominins. Hominins? The transparent scope of the find shows that the group of early humans that made the tools employed a factory-like production on them, literally 1 million years before scholars thought this was happening. The tools show evidence that the creators carefully worked the bones, chipping off flakes to create useful shapes. I love when they're like, they have tools, and it's like, what's the tool? Like, they have a bone with like a little hole in this side of it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. I get it if you're a monkey, that's kind of cool. But I
It's
don't
not
like
a CD player with skip protection.
they think they're great. We have driverless cars now. Imagine what those hominins would think of that.
How many driverless cars did they make?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Did they have enough that it was annoying everybody in their city? I don't think so. They didn't even have a city yet.
Yeah.
It says, we are excited to find these bone tools. This is from Renata Peters, University College London archaeologist. We are excited to find these bone tools from such an early time frame. It means that human ancestors were capable of transferring skills from from stone to bone, a level of complex cognition that we haven't seen elsewhere for another million years. The researchers from UCL and the Spanish National Research Council published the findings in Nature, highlighting the earliest substantial collection of tools made from bone ever found. While humans' ancestors able to walk upright had been making tools out of stone for at least 1 million years, the authors wrote, there was little evidence of widespread tool making using bones before 500,000 years ago. The process for the bone tools seems to be similar to how they crafted stone tools, a process dubbed knapping, Knapping, as workers chip small flakes away to form sharp edges.
There's a thing
They should also see what Ibrahim's doing with these fapping.
They've been fapping for 1 million years longer than they thought.
I'm not impressed. I would have came up with a tool real quick. I would be like, oh, that's a hard surface. I need another hard surface to hit it with. I'm not going to use my hand. It hurts.
They've been fapping the bones for way too long. Way longer than we ever thought.
You know, we talked about this a couple times now, but like, I don't know. So what? You know, like, like it's always like
it's our go-to joke, but it is also like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, it's always like this could change everything we know about like when humans started making tools, and it's like, okay, but so we have tools now though. This doesn't like elevate our use of current tools, nor does it provide us with new ones. It just is like, you know, I mean, there's obviously something to understanding the past and our history, but at a certain point, it's like, how much like research grant money is going to like figuring out when something with opposable thumbs picked up a rock that could just be like housing people right now? You know what I mean? Like,
well, I wonder, ridiculous. You know, I'm sure that they're not like, I'm sure that grant money is a little more general, right? Like,
oh, for sure. I mean, it's not, it's very specific. It's, well, you know, it's not the same money that goes toward public housing, right? It's like private donations. There's all kinds of stuff like that. But, you know, it's just like, okay, I'm so glad you guys got to the bottom of like when that happened, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Serious Black says, I discovered some tools back in high school. That's what's up. Doug says, I got your bone tool right here.
Relax, Doug.
And Uncle Bubba says, come on, guys, no politics. This is not a politics podcast. We're not talking about politics. We're talking about pop culture. We're talking about
bones.
Talk about bones.
You know about some
friggin' bonies.
I got 5 tools, man.
What are they?
A knife, a fork, a spork, spoon, and a screwdriver.
He just pulled the fucking Boy Scout like tub out of the closet to look in there real quick.
A 5-tool player.
I got IKEA tools. They have a little toolbox when I first moved in over here. It was pretty helpful.
I got tools.
It says the bones were mostly from elephants and hippopotamuses, although there were also 2 from a cow-like species. Excuse me? They don't know what they don't know what it was?
They're like, shit,
yeah,
we
figure that out.
Million. We meant like 1,500,000 or whatever.
Yeah, they're like so impressed that they found a sharp bone that somebody made. Did not talk about, we don't know what kind of animal this came from. It could have been from a dinosaur, you know? Could have had dino DNA.
And did you know that all water is dinosaur piss?
Is that great? What,
like
bro?
we're drinking. Remember Rogan clip is like, it's dinosaur piss. Yeah.
He said that? No.
Yeah. I'll try to find it and show it to you.
It says the workers made long tools ranging from 8.6 to 15 inches for the elephant bones and 7 to 11 inches for the hippo from limb bones, used for density and strength. The researchers wrote that techniques used on stone tools were from the Oldowan age, carried over into a time where human ancestors were entering the Acheulean age. Yeah. Bone shaped into tools had only ever been found in isolated instances and never in such quantity, which suggests a systematic production of tools, or just one guy who was way into bones.
Yeah.
They're like, we found a lot of them. Like, you know what you would find if you saw like a bunch of my art. Wow, this guy really likes, like Slipknot and shit. Like
Yeah.
this
No,
whole culture must have been obsessed with it. No, it's just me. It says, which suggests systematic production of tools likely used to process animal carcasses for food. By producing technologically and morphology standardized bone tools, the authors wrote, early Acheulean tool makers unraveled technological repertoires that were previously thought to have appeared routinely more than 1 million years later. They just said that in a way to make it sound as like necessary as possible,
yeah, I was
using
just
as
like,
much words as they could.
That was
When
like
all
if,
they
that
was-
was like if that was
the
like a
opening
cannabis
paragraph of
bar,
the new
dude.
June book.
That's like
Mechanical repertoires, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like it's just like the beginning scroll of like some future fucking Star Wars movie or some shit.
it sounds like the pitch to like an Image comic where you're like, I'm not gonna read this shit. Sounds fun, but I'm not reading that.
It's called our bones were tools or something. Or
Hey, Our Bones with Tools might be like an actual picture. Just based on name alone, I think that gets
That is one of the least creative and most on point dissections of that I've ever heard. It's crazy.
I think Stevenson would greenlight that on name alone.
Yeah.
Our Bones were tools? That's incredible. Yes, do it. What a goof.
And the Eisner for best new series goes to
Our Bones were tools.
Got to get
What would it be
Rosenberg on
about,
that.
though?
Yeah, I was gonna say, where's Rosenberg? I got a pitch.
No, fuck that. Give me Tiny Onion. I heard he's paying money for these things.
Hit him up.
Tiny Onion, back up the Brinks truck. We got an idea over here, brother.
What if your bones were tools?
Speaking of old bones, scientists date remains of an ancient child that resembles both humans and Neanderthals.
Damn, they fucked.
Yeah. That's what
So
I'm
it's
saying.
like, this
we
is
always
like
thought they
some
were
news.
beefing.
Yeah.
We always thought they were beefing, but in actuality, they might have been banging the whole time.
Well, you know they were
Wait,
fucking.
what is it? Geico or Progressive that has the caveman fucking mascot?
Progressive has Flow,
Who's got
and
the
Geico
fucking,
has a
like,
gecko.
who's got the caveman? Like,
Might have been old Geico.
Yeah, I think that was old Geico, right?
yeah, like I feel like that dude is waiting to be in an advertisement now, some horny advertisement for the fucking self-driving San Francisco. Like,
Yeah, the Waymo, the
Some-
That's tight.
Waymo.
They
yeah, the
were
caveman
like-
Waymo,
lawyer.
like the Neanderthal guy and the fucking pretty lady in the back of the Waymo.
I did. When
That
you
was
said
like-
that, the first thing that popped in my head was that little kid from Road Warrior, the little feral boy.
Oh yeah, that little piece
Well,
of
a
shit.
little ugly kid.
The kid rocked.
They were like a
Speaking of Kid Rock, I heard he played at a
prehistoric
grocery
Romeo
store
and
one time.
Juliet.
State. Was that Ibrahim?
So they were like a prehistoric Romeo and Juliet from two like warring subhuman factions or whatever.
It says scientists have dated the skeleton of an ancient child. Sounds so cool. See, this is the science that we should be doing, not bone tools. Useless. I want the oldest freaks we can find. From an ancient child that caused a stir when it was first discovered because it carries features from both humans and Neanderthals. The child's remains were discovered 27 years ago in a rock shelter called Lagar Velho in Center Portugal. The nearly complete skeleton was stained red, and scientists think it may have been wrapped in a painted animal skin before burial.
That's tough.
When the human... See, this is sick. This could be what our
Stained,
picture's about,
bro.
by the way. What's
There you
that?
go.
Stained, just like
Stained,
a grocery store.
stained.
Bringing it
Just
back.
like at Kid Rock, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
been a while.
It's been a while.
Kid Rock, stained, like I feel like it's all there in the show I went.
Yeah, dude.
Dude. Oh my god, there's like a curse gets unlocked or something.
Some Stone Age kid, fucking stained red.
Yeah. It's like Encino Man, but sick.
I feel like we're like Da Vinci coding this shit.
Chevelle seeing
Dude,
red.
that
Remember
that
one?
honestly sounds like two different bands. The Stone Age Kid and Stained Red. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah.
'Cause that's kind of perfect.
The other day, my stepdad sent me like a car commercial with that Stone Temple Pilots song, What's that one big song they had?
Interstate Love Song.
I am. You know that one?
Yeah, that's
Dead and married, or whatever the fuck.
That's all. No, Dead and Bloated.
Dead and bloated. Yes.
Yeah.
He was like, "What song is
Dead and
this?"
bloated. That's the song. Cause I'm dead and bloated.
Bloated. Bow, bow,
That's a good
ba-da-da-da-da.
riff, though. That's a killer riff.
Great riffs. They had great riffs, man. They did have great riffs.
He messaged me that song and said, "What's the name of this? I've been trying to think about this for 3 days now."
I hope you told him the wrong
Like-
name.
I just woke up. I was just like, "Dead and bloated, Stone Temple Pilots."
Yeah, like it's Temple of the Dog or whatever. Dead.
I said it was.
This is the dog.
Hold on, I have a sound bar for this. I said it was.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire. Ooh.
Ooh.
When the human-like child was discovered, scientists noted that some of their attributes, including body proportions and jawbone, looked Neanderthal. The researchers suggested that the child was
rude.
descended from populations. What's that? You said that's rude?
Yeah, that's rude.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up. We noticed that the child was ugly.
You look like a Neanderthal.
He was like a little freak goblin boy that we found painted red.
Scientists
No wonder,
found a
no wonder
ass
they
little
wrapped him up.
Was that?
It's no wonder they wrapped him up. Ugly fuck.
They treated the little boy like a caveman ET. The researchers suggested that the child was descended from populations in which humans and Neanderthals mated and mixed. That was a radical notion at the time, but advances in genetics have since proven that those populations existed, and people today still carry Neanderthal DNA. Wow,
You know what's
that's
tight?
sick, dude.
Tell me
You know
about
what's
it.
tight about that? Is they had this whole thing like scientists determined that based on this blah blah blah, and literally as soon as you read the headline, Brian came to the same conclusion by going, "They fucked." They had a whole lab to do that shit, and he was just like, "Yep, that's what it was."
There's something I know about people.
Yeah.
Those old humans said,
Just give me it however I can get it.
Shout out, Justin.
it was
Kinjite, forbidden subjects.
But trying to figure out when exactly the child lived has been difficult. Small
When
roots
they
have
fucked?
grown. What's that?
The exact date of when they fucked. Like,
Yeah, when, where, what music was playing, what the vibe was like.
Yeah.
Small roots had grown through the bones and contamination from plants and other sources made it impossible for science to use traditional carbon dating to measure the child's age. They instead dated the charcoal and animal bones around the skeleton to between 27,700 and 29,700 years ago. Techniques have improved, and researchers reported Friday in the journal Science Advances that they were able to date the skeleton by measuring part of a protein that's primarily found in human bones. Examining part of a crushed arm, they revealed the earliest estimate was in the ballpark. The skeleton was from between 27,700 and 28,600 years ago. Being able to successfully date the child. Whoa, chill. Hold on a second.
what
What are you doing?
What fucking magazine is this? Jeez.
Yeah, what? Hold on.
Dambla?
What, bro? Chill.
I hate this article.
This was from the AP. This is from a motherfucker named Adithi Ramakrishnan. Chill. I don't know how they do it over there, but that's not what we do here in America.
It's fucking,
Well, we do, but then you have to like run for office to get away with it.
yeah.
It says being able to successfully date the child.
They're like at the very end. It's like this was all discovered unearthing excavating the basement of Cosmic Ping Pong or whatever.
What's real crazy is that little goblin freak had an enlarged jaw, so you don't know what these motherfuckers did with this child.
Jesus.
Chill.
This conversation-
Hold on a second.
Bro.
This is insane, dude.
Being able to successfully date the child felt. What's that?
Let's see if we can get through this without making molestation jokes. I think that would probably be the best recourse for this article.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Here we go.
Hold on.
My boy Dak.
Hold on. We got company.
Oh, what's up?
Okay. This is my guy saying good night. Good night, buddy. Love you too.
You think he got some caveman in him?
Good night, dude.
Yeah, bro.
Adios, amigo.
Which one of your two lovely children do you think is most likely to be a caveman? The older one or the younger one?
Definitely the younger one. He's the one who bangs the drum. Like that dude. He's all about tools, dude. So if I give him a couple bones, it's on.
Let me try to get through this without being able to successfully date the child. Felt like giving them back a tiny piece of their story, which is a huge privilege, said Bethan Lynn Scott, a study author now at University of Miami, in an email. Miami?
Wow.
Well, Ibrahim would rather our resources go elsewhere. So we don't need to be giving them this piece of the story back. We need to be doing something else.
She noted the initial discovery.
So I got to work a different angle.
She noted the initial discovery was more than a skeleton. It was also the grave of a young child. There's something crazy about like the excitement of being like, we found out it's more than just their remains. It was also a grave. We found a young child's grave. Isn't that incredible? Like that sounds pretty sad, actually.
It also sounds like that's what I would expect if they took the time to wrap and prepare the person. You would assume it's like a grave.
Yeah, but there's something about like the ritual of making a grave that they're always fascinated with, because it tells them how early like these beings actually started like observing death as a thing, you know, or like participating in like cultural rituals and stuff like that.
Yeah,
which again is like, okay, like we do that now, so we know at some point we started. You know?
Maybe it's just me, but even the death of a little goblin child is sad.
Well, yeah.
Damn!
What is this soundboard? This is new to me.
This is my soundboard. Didn't say new. This is old shit. Come on.
New to me.
Get with the program. Anyways, it says, she noted the initial discovery was more than a skeleton, was also the grave of a young child. When dating the bones, she couldn't help but wonder who loved the child.
Shout out to his family.
What made them laugh, and what their world looked like in the short 4 years they walked the planet. It was a 4-year-old? It was a 4-year-old little goblin? That's sad. Paul Petit.
What was the like, how long do people, you know, these beings live? Probably not very long, right? If you made it to like 25, you're probably pretty lucky.
Well, this is a Neanderthal? What was the...
I think the whole thing is like it's new, right? It's like a mixture they didn't know about before.
We didn't even know that we could be half Neanderthal.
Oh, I knew. I look in the mirror every day.
Well, Neanderthal in Miami, very common.
Interesting. So
I'm actually 1/8 Neanderthal.
Well, I have all these cool statuettes and paintings on my wall that I bought from the store.
This is a bone tool.
I'm gonna go bone tool hunting, like in the woods behind my house.
Like and subscribe. Really could use it.
God, those dudes are super common, and gals really. That shit cracks me up. Good one. Ibrahim, like this is kind of like on a serious note, I guess. Yeah, on multiple occasions you've referred to them as like, I guess I would refer to them as people, even though maybe I wouldn't refer to them as, you know, like human beings or Homo sapiens, but you've referred to them as beings. Is that like the appropriate terminology, or is it we just kind of struggling to find the language?
Yeah, I just wasn't sure what to call them because science is still out on it.
Yeah.
Like I don't know,
well, I
don't know if Neanderthals, because they're not human, right? They're Neanderthal. Like that's specifically the classification, I think, right? So
right. Well, I just find that fascinating and kind of interesting, you know.
I'll tell you what, Brian, as a YouTuber, I've learned to really be specific about what I say, because some fucking asshole is gonna go, actually, technically Neanderthals, and I just don't want to deal with it. So
Well, you could be like, who cares? So what?
I generally do, but
You
it's
can hit
just
him with
having
this.
to expend the
No.
energy to even say that. I just don't even want to do it. You know?
Yeah, I was
You
just
get
hitting with a callback. So.
Yeah.
You could hit him. With
Usually,
this one right
I'll say to people, I'll be like, this one dude was going back and forth with me on the color of the '89 Batmobile at one point, like a couple years ago, and I just was like, "Why are
It's
you
black,
like this?" And he stopped.
Isn't it black? What's the debate?
They painted it with this this color that's like it's like a color shifting thing. So like,
Oh, I see.
what angle? It was like a beetle. You know how beetle shells are
Yeah.
like an oil slick will be like black, but then green or
But it's not supposed to be
purple.
that. It's not supposed to be like duochromatic or whatever.
Yeah, it was called a flip flop paint job, is what they called it. And I used some word. Was it iridescent? I used a word that was like specifically meant that, and the guy was like, actually, it was a color changing paint job, and I was like, look up the word iridescent, fool. Like what?
You get out your Encarta discs or whatever, and bust out the encyclopedia.
Excuse me.
Motherfucker.
Don't be such a nerd, bro.
You know what I mean?
Who would be the nerd in that scenario, though? Like you with the bigger vocabulary, or this guy that cares about the Batmobile?
Yeah.
Like,
That's a good question. That's a real.
Who would be the nerd?
yeah, in that scenario.
Not me.
Yeah, there's
bro.
no winner there, you know.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think you probably handled the right way. Just like, I don't care what you have to say. I'm moving on.
Well, because I was like citing a documentary on the Batmobiles that was like interviewed the people who made it. So yeah, I was like, dude, I don't fucking take it up with the guys who made it. That's what they said, you know.
You fucking donut.
Exactly.
Of course, it was iridescent. You fucking donut.
Well, rest in peace to
Was
that
that just
kid.
a little fart?
What's that?
Oh, I thought I heard just
So-
the littlest fart.
Oh no, Sophie said, "Lose LOLing over here. Love those farts."
That's all you got to do to get Sophie going is just add a fart sound, and she's in.
Yeah,
I love
Yeah.
it.
she's a mark for farts.
So it says Paul Petit, an archaeologist at Durham University in England. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Where? England, eh?
Sound like you're from London.
Who was not involved with the new research, said in an email. Wait, well, then why are you asking him? He said in an email that the study is an example of how dating methods are becoming more effective in helping scientists better understand the past. The
Because
study
he's
of
British and they always have to like interject and give their opinion on everything.
Oh, yes. Speaking of Britain, my Manchester United Red Devils got a huge W today in the Europa League. Let's fucking go, dude. Glory, glory, Man U.
Is that softball? What is that?
damn, what is that?
Is that a sport?
How you gonna do, Ramon?
Anyways, it
You
says,
know Ramon's a huge soccer fan.
yeah, going back at least a month or two. The study of where humans come from is important for the same reason we keep portraits of our parents and grandparents, said study author Zhao Jilhao from the University of Lisbon. Shout out. It's a way of remembering, he said. Oh, that's beautiful. 296 comments on this article about what?
They're all like, "So what? Who cares? Fart noise."
Yo, if they have fart noise in here, that's sick. Oh, this one. Listen, hold on. Tommy is the top reply. He says, makes one think that maybe Neanderthals didn't go completely extinct 40,000 years ago. Might have been a few scattered pockets remaining until around this child's lifetime. Or another option is isolated hybrid populations remain for another 10 to 15,000 years, and this child is one of them. With a single sample size, it's probably impossible to tell. Interesting stuff, though. True.
Whatever, Tommy.
Yeah. In other news, a man roller skating with his Siamese shoulder cat is the definition of an 80s king, says this article from Parade Pets.
Jeez.
If we could take our pets everywhere, we totally would. Leaving them at home is a little scary. You just never know what could happen. Unfortunately, it's something we all have to do. On Saturday, March 8th, one man caught on camera bringing his adorable Siamese cat to a roller rink. The whole thing is genuinely impressive and hilarious. Let's see if we can...
Well, what's going on at their house where they're worried about what happens to their pet when they're gone? Like, what do they think is going to happen? Like, it's going to like try to cook dinner and like turn the stove on or something? Like, I don't...
You just never know.
Oh.
Here's...
I worry about my dog, you know?
I worry about her, but I don't leave her alone for like more than like 6 hours if I have
Here's
to.
the video.
But,
I'm fucking worried about my house.
Wait.
Like with my dog in it. Like my dog, like I'm more like, what is she getting into? Not what is she okay? You know, like is she gonna fucking topple some shit or trap herself in the bathroom?
She's gonna go in the backyard and dig up all those bodies.
Skate City was not ready
he's
for
at
this
a
man and
roller
his
rink.
shoulder cat. Only in Fargo.
What a fucking
Yeah, look at where he's
showboat.
going.
Unbelievable.
Holy shit.
Kick him out.
He's vibing.
Fucking showboating ass.
Bro, the inner monologue of that cat is just like the cat's just screaming. The cat's like you at the fucking grocery store just screaming. Ah!
Was that them telling him you got to get this cat out of here?
He's losing his
Cat
mind.
in our- Watch the guy in the blue shirt. You go, sir.
Where's your cat out here?
You can't have a cat
This
here.
is, I think, one of those situations like this guy. You think he said you can't
Right
have a
here,
cat?
watch.
I think this is what I was
Yeah.
saying earlier, where if you got like kind of swag and juice, you're allowed to do a lot more. You know what I mean?
You open a skating rink, or you go to your job that day at the skating rink. You don't think that you're gonna have to tell somebody that day you can't bring your cat here.
Right.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's not part of the handbook.
Serious Black.
feel
says,
like-
I have 3 cats,
Yeah.
and yeah, I probably would bring them everywhere. Post up on a corner and put my hat out for tips.
Yeah, I would
Sophie
love to
says,
bring
one
my
time
cat
in
or my dog everywhere. Go ahead.
Damn, Rambo. You
Sophie
crazy. I guess
says-
I don't have cats, which they seem like they get up to a lot more crazy shit while the family's gone.
Rambo.
Sophie, so one time in my old apartment, Rambo managed to turn a stove burner on by himself when he jumped up on the stovetop, burned off one half of his whiskers. God damn.
The Rambo's a fucking
My boy
terror,
Dio
man.
says, recipe for a lawsuit. True.
Yeah, if that's his
Did you all see the video of the
companion
woman
animal or
trying to
something?
breastfeed her cat on an airplane?
I did see
No.
that shit.
Wait, what?
I didn't like it.
What? She was trying to breastfeed her cat?
Yeah, but she was trying to hide it like it was a baby. So I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know if she was
She wasn't
trying
actually-
to breastfeed her cat. She was just trying to
She's
pretend she was
yeah.
breastfeeding a baby.
that's wild.
It was bad. I'll say that.
So this is.
I think
this
I
is
saw that. I think that was like a joke video. I want to say it was a while ago. I can't remember though.
Yeah, it was weird.
So this is a story that I did read, but I wanted to talk about it on the show just because it made me laugh. It's not as irreverent as we normally do, but this is not a politics podcast, so we won't be discussing the politics of it. Just what happened, okay?
Mhm.
From Greene County, Missouri, a Greene County detention center officer is in custody for allegedly stealing money from an ICE detainee. First of all, abolish ICE. Obviously, goes without saying. Not a politics podcast, but just is what it is.
Yeah, it's
Caden
just
Lewis
kind of-
is charged with a felony stealing, which involves the theft of $750 or more. According to online court records, an inmate being held for ICE at Greene County Jail noticed they were missing $900 in cash from his personal property bag as he was about to be released on March 6th. The Greene County Sheriff's Officer later reimbursed the inmate for the missing money. The Greene County Sheriff's Office conducted an investigation into the matter and reviewed jail footage which showed Caden Lewis messing with the inmate's bag that stored the $900 on February 23rd. You know how annoying that must be if you're already evil, fucked up, and now you have this random dude going yo, what happened to my $900? And they're like, what? Get him from the slush fund $900, and then you find a video of this big fucking white doofus stealing the money from his bag. So that's not what's funny about that. What's funny is when they confronted the guy about this. It says in a post Miranda interview with Greene County officers, Lewis admitted to stealing the money while working the jail property room. and said he did it due to personal money troubles. He later stated that he felt bad about stealing the money and burned it.
What the fuck?
Isn't that such an incredible like child's lie? Like, yeah, I stole $100, but I needed it, and then I felt bad, so I burned it.
So I burned it.
Wow.
No one should have it.
But Lewis also said that he purchased 3 firearms worth of a total of $1,087 after the money was stolen. He's like, I had money problems because I just bought $1,000 worth of, or I was about to buy $1,000 worth of guns. So I burned the other 900. It's just like the worst lie you could possibly come up with.
This is a straight up like either that or it's not a lie, and this person has a pathological compulsion to do shit. Like,
I wonder if there's some kind of a extra statute where like if you purchase firearms with stolen money, that's like an extra sentence or something. And so he was like, I burned it.
That's probably there's probably some truth to that, because I feel like you shouldn't be allowed to do that. You know, I mean, you shouldn't be allowed to steal anything from people who are in jail.
I don't think you should be allowed to buy $1,000 worth of guns either, but that's just me. I feel like that's
I guess you hate America.
Or you know, just the cost of any gun is $1,000. You know,
well, he bought 3 for $1,000, so it wasn't like.
Oh, okay.
He was gearing up like he was goddamn Cable out there, dude.
You got the cost of volume deal.
Yeah, he wanted to be like Deadpool. He wanted to just be geared up, ready for anything, dude.
That's what he said in the Miranda was, I just wanted to be Deadpool.
I was getting some swords next.
Yeah.
I hear Katana
says, I can't imagine the U.S. putting any exceptions or rules to buying guns.
Yeah, they're just happy with them.
He's like, I thought this sounded like a little bit of wokeness from the Greene County officers. They should have gave him a medal. They should have gave him a medal and 3 more guns.
You can buy 1 carton of eggs, but $1,000 worth of guns. So,
like, damn, dude, you wanted to be fucking Punisher? Why don't you take these guns too? You know, take this body armor too, dude. That's cool as hell.
Motherfucker thinks he's Hot Fuzz.
Actions like this will not be tolerated at the sheriff's office as they go against our mission. I don't think it does go against your mission. And how he served the citizens of Greene County. Sheriff Arnott said in a statement, Lewis is in Greene County jail on $5,000 bond. You know how many detainees he's going to have to rob to make that, dude? That's impossible. He's going to have to rob like upwards of 6 detainees for that.
Oh, shout out my homie Alan. He's in the chat. The one I mentioned earlier.
Oh, he said, man, that's a choice. I don't know what that one was referring to, but I think
it must have been
everything that guy did.
I think it was the cat story. The breastfeeding cat. Uncle Bubba says, if you bought 3 totaling 1,000 plus, it sounds like they were low quality guns to begin with. Maybe he bought 3 Taurus guns and one of them would have fired on their own.
So I can unpack this if nobody knows what that meant.
Go ahead, explain.
So Taurus guns are manufactured to be low in cost. And so in turn, but they have reliability stigma that they're not overly reliable. So the joke is that he bought 3 cheap guns and one of them probably fired itself. It was a little obscure. Sorry, what was that? Bub? What was their name?
Uncle Bubba.
Uncle Bubba. I'm sorry that we didn't have a. No, I got you. I hear you.
Thank you for breaking it down.
Mm-hmm.
Taurus.
Dio says, this sounds like a case of more bang for your buck. That's crazy.
Hey-o.
That's nuts, dude.
Thank you. Let him live.
With the,
oh man, what a tease.
The comments on this, there's only 3 for this one, sadly, compared to the 200 about the old bones. This one says, nothing new. This is from Dog Lover. Nothing new. This has gone on forever. Usually happens before they go to jail, but this time Ice probably made the arrest, so the crook had to steal it from the property room. He was pretty sure he was going to have this covered up, wasn't he? Also, Favio says, needed money to buy guns. Don't worry, Trump will pardon him. And MO says, typical pig behaviors. Why do you think it all take the jobs and wear uniforms It all are criminal and coward that use uniforms to commit crimes. Hard ass. I'm gonna give that a thumbs up.
There you go.
Yeah. One last story. Australia tells U.S. influencer, leave baby wombat alone.
You know what's crazy? I'm always saying that too.
I think this woman's from Montana. I think is it? So my friend was talking about this.
It's possible. Let's get into it. Australia's top diplomat urged a visiting American influencer on Thursday to leave the baby wombat alone after a video appeared to show the woman pestering a young marsupial. In a now deleted video posted to Instagram this week, the woman can be seen picking up the hissing wild animal before declaring to the camera, "I caught a baby wombat." The woman, identified in the Australian media as American influencer Sam Jones. Let's see, Sam Jones.
We're sending our best and
Getting
our
a different.
brightest.
You're just gonna get.
Yeah, I want to see.
Flash Gordon.
It sucks because I looked for her and all I can see is that like all these stories about how she's causing an international incident. The video riled wildlife experts and animal lovers alike, and on Thursday, concern over it reached the top echelons of the Australian government. It looked pretty dreadful, didn't it? Can you say that in an Australian accent, Ibrahim?
It looked pretty dreadful.
Nice work.
Thank you. Australian's a hard one. I find New Zealand to be easier for some reason because it's like more truncated vowels.
Let's hear New Zealand.
Yeah. Well, hit me with the New Zealand one. You could riff.
I need like a sentence. I need something to say.
Just say. Sorry.
It's too late now.
The moment
is
fast. Moving on.
Put down that wombat, that baby wombat. I can't do it. You know.
Shout out.
Big shout out to OMC. You know, pour one out for the ones who aren't with us anymore, dude. I think everyone who would have seen that would have thought, look, leave the baby wombat alone. Home Affairs Minister Tony Burke said he was investigating if the woman had violated her visa. I can't wait for Australia to see the back of this individual. I don't expect I don't expect she will return, he said in a statement. Australia's Wombat Protection Society said the influencer
Sorry.
No, it is funny. Their Wombat Protection Society. How about be a real country, dude?
Fucking donkey!
It's crazy when Americans tell somebody else their country's fucked up. Australia's Wombat Protection Society said the influencer mishandled a wombat joey in an apparent snatch for social media likes. It was a snitch. She then placed the vulnerable baby back onto the country road, potentially putting it at risk of becoming roadkill. Australia's rotund native wombats are among the biggest burrowing species, according to the National Museum. While some species are considered endangered, the common bare-nosed wombat is found along large swaths of southern and eastern Australia.
Bro, we gotta be fucking with everything, you know? Can't just leave anything alone.
There needs to be different laws for harsher laws for influencers who do dumb shit.
Yeah. If you're doing it and you have your phone out and you have like a thing, then you should get like double the penalty.
It should be equivalent to purchasing a firearm with stolen money, whatever that.
Whenever you come up with that punishment, then we'll just
Uncle Bubba says, "Looks like you're right, Tony. She's from Montana."
Use the cell phone during the commission of a crime.
I got bad news. I went to go see what her profile looked like, and she's currently private. That's how you know shit got brutal out there.
Yeah, she's stressing.
Yeah, private is like the fucking. It's anathema to an influencer. You know her shit got fucked up.
Yeah.
You know, I said that that was going to be it for the stories. I got one more story because that one didn't really move me like I wanted it to. Realtor fired after leaving hateful message instead of tip on restaurant receipt.
Oh, I've heard.
Yeah,
myself.
I love these stories where like people think that shit's real sweet right now because Trump's president, and they forget that like society still exists. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one, I have bad news for you, Brian. This is from your neck of the woods.
No.
A Mexican restaurant in Ohio, apparently maybe the best tacos in Ohio. It says here.
You lying ass. That ain't
No, it doesn't say
that ain't true, dog. That's some lying ass bullshit.
No, but it is in Ohio. A Mexican restaurant in Ohio and its employees have received an outpouring of public support. See, this is a W for Ohio, though.
Yeah,
because they stood by the Mexican
squad.
restaurant.
Ohio showing up. What's up?
W, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
It received an outpouring of public support after one customer allegedly left a hateful message instead of a tip. On Monday, March 3rd, a Facebook user posted images of Cazuela's Mexican Cantina receipt with a female customer's handwritten note to the waiter, Ricardo. The receipt read, for the $87.84 meal, read, 0, you suck, on the line where the tips are added. Below the signature, the line read, I hope Trump deports you, 3 exclamation marks. Which is like kind of crazy. Like,
yeah,
why you have to be so like extra about
Kinda
it? You know
crazy.
what I mean?
Damn.
Where was this place at?
Cazuela's. Oh, in Columbus.
Okay.
The incident allegedly occurred on Sunday, March 2nd, at Cazuela's Mexican restaurant and cantina in Columbus, Ohio. It follows President Donald Trump's recent efforts, including mass deportations of illegal immigrants and attempts to put an end to birthright citizenship. The woman was reportedly employed by 21st Century Real Estate or Century 21 Real Estate. We are aware of the situation with the agent in question. Hate has no place within our Century 21 brand. Imagine you're just like trying to sell houses and like people are calling like, why did this dumb bitch say that she wanted this guy deported? And they're like, ah, fuck. It said we are taking this very seriously. A spokesperson from Century 21 Excellence Realty told People in a statement. After investigating the situation and connecting with the respective broker, as all companies affiliated with Century 21 brand, we are independently owned and operated. We can confirm that this agent is no longer affiliated with the brand, the statement continued. The Columbus Realtor Board also issued a statement to its members on March 3rd, confirming that the woman is no longer a current member of Columbus Realtors. Tio said she was still in Century 20. Columbus Realtors is aware of a local agent's discriminatory statements, and the statement read, while she is not a current member or an employee of Columbus Realtors, her comments do not reflect the values of our organization and are not aligned with the high standards we have for our realtors. We are deeply disappointed by the offensive message left on a recent receipt, which goes against our values and welcoming environment we strive to create, Cazuela's Mexican Cantina said in a statement to ABC6. There is no place for hate in our restaurant. Fabio Oribo, the head of marketing at Cazuela's, they have a head of marketing at this like one. Okay, shut up. He told the Columbus Dispatch that Ricardo does not have a history of poor customer service. He added that Ricardo was a natural-born U.S. citizen and from a Latino background. Well, yeah, obviously. I bet she wouldn't have wrote that if he didn't look like he was from out there. You know what I mean? It was a normal Sunday, Oribo said. Things got a little busy, so the wait could have been a little longer than usual. But we aren't really sure what made her write that. I know what made her write that. She's a dumb racist bitch, dude.
Yeah, she's a fucking racist piece of shit.
From what I hear, she wasn't happy about the coupon or something like that. He told News 19. It's just not right. It's just not right. He's a really good person, Oribo said of Ricardo, who works 2 jobs and is only at the restaurant on Sundays. We all come here every day to do our job, which is to serve people and have a good time. Thankfully, all the community has been really supportive. After the post was shared, it quickly went viral and amassed over 11,000 reactions on Facebook. One person created a GoFundMe to raise money for the waiter. Why? Wait, hold on a second. I mean, listen, I love this for him, but like, call me, tell me you want me deported. I'll take some money. That's crazy. One person created a GoFundMe to raise money for the waiter.
On the tip.
Oh, he did get stiffed, yeah. Now he got a tip of how much money you think they raised for him?
I'm gonna guess 150 grand.
I'm gonna say
150 grand.
I'm gonna say 5.
That'd be crazy.
I'm hoping.
150 grand is insane, bro.
I'm praying for this guy. I hope he gets it.
You want him to get a blessing for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
He has
Look
raised
at
over $9,550
And what a tip.
after
That's
exceeding
nice,
his
dude.
goal of $1,000. Let me check out the GoFundMe.
Hey, where's that? Where's he at now?
Jason said, "Let him hustle that white guilt."
Yeah.
For real.
Tip Ricardo because hate has no place here. This was like a white lady, dude. Imagine if this white lady who did. Whoa, hold on a second. That was old. He has now $40,000 raised. What?
Come up. Let's
No.
go.
This slur, dude. That's crazy.
Let's go.
That's nuts, dude. Hold
Yeah,
on a
Ricardo's
second.
got a down payment on a house.
Fuck
That's-
yeah, dude.
Whoa! Shout out to Ricardo, dude. Hold on here. I want to look at how she wrote this shit, dude. This is crazy. I had not seen the image. I'm a screen share his GoFundMe. We could take a look at this. This is kind of sick. 40 grand is insane.
Hell yeah, maybe he can quit that other job now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a W for him. That's true.
Have a weekend or two in his life.
Huh.
Yeah. Or he can take some days off, He doesn't have to work so hard.
Oh my god, dude.
Enjoy his life. Yeah.
Wow.
So this woman right here,
Yeah,
shout out to
that's
Anna
crazy work.
Overman. She's a
Yeah.
true ally to the Latino community.
Mhm.
Let's
He's
do
gonna
it.
get a lowrider with that money.
Uh,
He's gonna have it so when it honks, it goes dun, 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 dun,
You,
dun.
you know, what'd be tight is if he used that money to buy a house from her competitor.
Oh shit.
hell yeah.
Ricardo is a hardworking server at Cazuela's Bar and Grill in Columbus, Ohio. The evening of 03/02/25, he was doing a job like any other day, giving great service, and then, after serving an $87 meal, he got left 0 tip and a hateful message on the receipt. 0, you suck. I hope Trump deports you. In case it's unclear, these people were eating at a Mexican restaurant. Dude, I love how she wrote this shit, dude. She's cooking with the all caps and the bold. Look at the thing, by the way. What?
That was like, remember
what
we
did
were
she
watching
scribble out right
MILF
there?
Manor?
Her name. She scribbled out her
Yeah.
name.
Oh, true. Because
Yeah.
it says right here, Love and Stephanie R. Oh shit, that's nasty work by her.
She ain't loving, dude. That's Stephanie R. hating, fool. That's crazy.
That's nuts.
Ibrahim, you're saying about Milf Manor?
Oh, remember we were watching MILF Manor and fucking Disco Mommy was all mad about them speaking Spanish to each other, and we were like,
Yeah.
they're in Mexico.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, Uncle Boba said, "Let's fucking recar go, dude." That's crazy.
Hell yeah.
They enjoyed the food, they enjoyed the service, and instead of tipping, they decided to show their true colors in the most disgusting way possible. Well, guess what? Hate doesn't win here. In Columbus, Ohio, I think it does often.
Anna Overman seems like a copywriter at her day job with the way she's
Yeah.
going on with the bold and all that shit.
She's cutting a hard ass promo.
She is.
The internet has already handled the people responsible, so no need to waste energy on them. So true, Queen. This fundraiser is about lifting up Ricardo and showing him that the community stands with him. Let's tip him what he deserves and then some. Every dollar raised will go directly to Ricardo. Cazuela's is less than 10 minutes from my house, and we have been loyal customers for years. I am in contact with the management, and they will assist in ensuring that 100% of the funds raised go directly to Ricardo. Now it's time to drown out the hate with love. Drop a donation, leave a message of support, and let's show Ricardo what this community has. This community has his back. Hell yeah, dude!
See, Brian, you should give this guy a tattoo for a discount.
Yeah,
You should do what? Sorry.
I just
give him a
found
tattoo.
Anna Overman's Twitter account, and let's see here. I just
Like, I'll
googled.
tattoo you up.
I'm looking to see if she's gonna.
Okay,
post about-
While you're looking at that, let me read you this little follow-up that I just found.
Okay,
Because
hell yeah.
I
Hit me with
looked
it.
up the realtor, right? Listen to this.
Hit me.
Ohio woman fired for xenophobic hope Trump deports you note to waiter now seeks donations. I was wrong.
Wait, she's getting.
You can't do that.
Let's fight. Let's
After
fight back
losing-
against love with hate.
After losing her job as a real estate agent, the Ohio woman turned to the internet for donations, launching a GoFundMe for financial support. Stephanie Levins, who was fired as a real estate agent from Century 21 after leaving a xenophobic note, has now turned to the internet for donations. A fundraiser on GoFundMe, a crowdfunding platform, was started on her behalf by an individual named Bobby Blanchard. The GoFundMe page read, quote, Stephanie's path to accountability, reform, second chance. The fundraiser description stated Stephanie Levins deeply regrets the mistake she made that has had serious consequences on her life. In a moment of frustration, she wrote something offensive on a restaurant receipt that she now realizes was hurtful and wrong. Oh, now. Since then, she has faced intense backlash, lost her job.
I love the idea that like writing "you suck" is like, I shouldn't have started this with two awful.
I realize now.
Make it worse from there.
Yeah, the error of my ways is clear to me now as a 35-year-old.
She's 35.
She lost her job, real estate license, and had to remove herself from social media due to embarrassment.
I was just a kid.
Yeah.
Oh, just a 35.
Although the fundraiser aimed to raise $5,000 and received contributions from 23 donors, it was later taken down. This came after all the users tagged GoFundMe and urged the platform to remove the donation page.
Bro, they need to take that shit to Indiegogo, man. That's the.
They told her ass.
Shut up, bitch.
Ricardo hit her with the.
Shut up, bitch.
That's crazy, dude. You know what? She was hearing this one, but now she hears a different bell. She hears where is it at? I was gonna play like the death bell, but I.
For whom the bell tolls, bell.
Yeah, I think. Oh, here it is. That's the one that she heard, dude.
The taker.
New bells are tolling for this bitch. Theo says the anti-Karen, the Karen, like K-I-R, like caring. Yeah. Jason says buy the house next door. Cookouts every weekend.
Oh yeah.
You know how. Listen, I know some people. I'm not going to name names, but I know some people who hate when Mexicans play their music loud. When they're having little barbecues and whatnot.
That's me.
I wasn't going to name any names. I'm not. I like to call out my boys.
I'm an equal opportunity hater. I hate when anyone does it. I just happen to live near Mexican people who do it. But dude, I was talking to the like de facto manager of the house next door, he works for like this rich old guy who owns a bunch of houses and rents them out. And he was telling me, like, he goes, the Mexicans up there had a bunch of cars here all week and a band. And I said, oh yeah, there was a quinceañera. And he goes, yeah, but rent a place out. And I was like, that's what I'm saying, dude. He can have a live band in a neighborhood.
That sounds kind of fun, bro.
No,
I had the place. I lived in this spot up here, and I had a band in my backyard one night for a party.
No, that is kind of cool.
The cops like walk right in our backyard. I was like,
different.
Yeah, it's super dope when you're just like trying to just enjoy the peace of your own home that you pay a lot for every month, and like all you can hear is booms, 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 booms for 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
It's super tight.
Yeah, I mean, look, to play devil's advocate, I feel you, but to play devil's advocate, there's probably very few things as liberating as, blasting a boom, boom, boom in the house that you pay a lot for. So like, I get that too.
Yeah, it comes down to like, respect for everybody else. That's the thing. Like, I hate it when anybody does it. I hate when there's fucking everybody exceeds a reasonable level of volume. Like if kids are playing in their yard and screaming around and shit, it's a little annoying, but I'm like, kids are playing. You know what I mean? That's what kids do. But like, we literally live a half a mile from a Grange Hall that is super cheap to rent. So it's like, come on, dude, do that.
Whenever we throw a party, we always try to let the neighbors know ahead of time, but it's not often, but we always try to kind of let people know, like, hey, we're going to have people over. Of course, you're invited.
We'll be playing really loud, Stained, Kid Rock, just the usual.
Non-point.
We got all the players from the grocery store showing up.
Just grocery store music, really.
3 doors down will be there. It's also 2 doors down the that house.
Oh man, that reminds me. I was at in New York for New York Comic Con, and there was this. I went to this party. It was this, that place Whatnot,
Yeah.
that website Whatnot,
Mhm.
like where you sell shit. Does anybody like have a good relationship with them, or can I talk shit?
Kind of, but go ahead and talk shit.
Okay, so like I had this party and I got invited or whatever, and a friend of mine was kind of invited there, and he was like, "Come here, this party sucks" or whatever, and I want to hang out with somebody I like. And this turned out the worst party I've ever been to, ever maybe. And I'm there, but a friend is there, and I almost actually like. There's a really funny side story about this where I like fucking blew up, and Ryan Brown saw me blow up, and his eyes got real big, and he was like, "Oh fuck, like this is gonna get really bad really fast," and I kept it together. But there was this funny moment where the friend that invited me, we were standing around, and he was like, "Hey, do you see that lady over there?" And I was like, "Yeah," and he was like, "Her brother is Rob Thomas."
Whoa.
That's crazy.
What the fuck? I was not
I love
expecting
Rob
that.
Thomas, dude. I love
like-
Matchbox 20. Unironically, they're sick.
Oh, they got some bangers. But I was just like, what? That's crazy. And he was like, yeah, she's super cool, blah, 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 blah. So, he was like, if she comes over, like, she'll have to, tell you some stories or whatever. So I was like, oh, that's cool. So eventually she makes her way over, and we're all chatting, and I didn't bring anything up, and he just can't resist. And he was like, tell him who your brother is.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, my brother is Rob Thomas. And I, like, without even skipping a beat, I was like, oh, the guy from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
That's crazy.
And she was like, huh? And I was like, yeah, where he was in the asylum or whatever. And she's like, with Sinbad. And I was like, yeah. Like, and she's like, yeah, that's him. And I was like, that's cool. Is he still working? Like,
Wait,
He's like-
the actor or the singer was on Always Sunny?
He had a cameo. Yeah.
a cameo,
okay.
like, where he was like in an insane asylum. And she was
Anime
just like,
smooth, bro.
and I was totally like, I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, is he still working? And she was like, yeah, he's done a little bit here and there, but he doesn't really worry too much because he's a musician. And I was like, oh, cool. What band is he in?
No, dude, that's crazy.
So
You're just
fucking
trying to be a dickhead, dude.
Yeah, it was really fun. And then I was like, of course I know who he is. She was super cool
Yeah,
lady, and
That's
obviously had a good time. Like we were cutting up. She was rad. Rob, like what I'm saying is shout out Rob Thomas's sister. She was tight.
Nice.
Serious Black says, LOL, you bogus as hell, Brian.
Good
was
twice
really
you
good.
doing that.
Hey, whatever, man. It was fun.
Yeah, that's hilarious. A girl.
That was
when
like
I
a
did
bit.
room service. When I did room service at the hotel, we would have the Utah Jazz stay there all the time. Whenever they play the Blazers, they came to our hotel, and like one night, a couple of them were just being like, or one of them specifically was being really rude to me. Like when I was bringing him his room service, like I was trying to like, have the interaction with him. Like, okay, so here's this, blah blah, you sign this, and he's just like watching sports highlights, going like, oh, they called a foul on that. That's bullshit. Blah blah blah. Like not acknowledging me at all. And and one of the other players was in his room with him, and I just went, "You guys like basketball?" Like, the one dude who was sitting there, he was like kind of smirked and like this motherfucker kind of deal, and the other guy just went, "Yeah."
Please tell me it was Karl Malone.
I think it was Paul Millsap.
Oh, fuck.
Sorry.
But then
Fuck.
another time
Thought he was a
I
good guy, yeah.
delivered to what was that guy's name? I can't remember the guy's name now. He's one of the bigger Utah Jazz players, like one of the more popular ones. And he checked in under the name McLovin. And we're supposed to, at the hotel, we were supposed to be like, thank you, Mr. So-and-so, right? Like whatever the name was on the registry. So I was like, oh, thank you, Mr. McLovin. Is that
I
Irish?
think you might have said it was Derek Williams at one point.
Darren Williams.
Oh, yeah,
that's what it was.
Darren.
Yeah, I feel like
Darren Williams, right?
Darren Williams.
Yeah, the point guard.
Yeah.
Busted out. People said he was going to be on the same level as like Steph, Tony.
Yeah, yeah.
That's crazy.
They said it was like for 6 months, and they're like, oh no, he's not.
Well, I mean, probably longer than that because he had a higher, like initially when Steph first came into the league, he was like, this guy's busted. He's not going to make it. Doesn't happen.
Yeah,
But
weak
But
ankles,
now-
man.
look at us. Look at us. Who would have thought we'd be here? Nobody. Dio said you don't need to work anymore after you make smooth with Santana. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, kind of chill.
Before we end the show, I wanted to bring up one thing. We don't talk about comic stuff here. This is not a comics podcast. This is a podcast about other things. But there's one big story in the news this week that I wanted to talk about. You guys know what it might be?
Is the Dustin Wynn
I
thing?
can guess.
Oh yeah, it's Dustin Wynn.
I want to talk to you about this.
So here's the story from my good friend Rich Johnston over at Bleeding Cool. Comic book creator Dustin Wynn posted up to Instagram about working at Marvel. Something it looks like he won't be doing again for a while. Imagine I'm like really British and annoying when I'm saying this. He says, also, everyone, I'm not working with Marvel, at Marvel. Can fuck themselves. This is the crazy thing about this is like he wrote it so poorly. I don't know if you like if you read it, but like there's just like grammatically it's just a nightmare. I've asked nicely for the past 15 years on behalf of every artist. Stop fucking creators over. You're not getting another cover from me until then. Drown me. I'm okay with your minimum wage bullshit. After he blew up, he followed up saying, okay, this is getting hits earlier than expected from this one. And I'm kind of glad because I got words. But really, if this bothers you, I'm sorry. At Marvel has been undercutting creators from the start. Unless you're getting 6 to 7K a cover, then God bless. People getting 6 to 7K a cover? My God. You think he did? Or no?
No,
He
I
must
think
know
that's
somebody
like
that does, though, right?
that's like an Alex Ross, JR, probably
He must-
type of cover rate, you know, like
I don't know who his boys are, like you're my boys, but like one of his boys must have been like, yeah, I got like 6K for the cover. And they're like,
he was a Wildstorm guy, so maybe he's talking about people like Lee Bermejo or, you know, guys from that era.
Peach Momoko.
Yeah.
I bet she gets good money for covers.
Yeah, she probably does pretty well.
He says, I hope you're getting a piece of the MCU and after sales. Between them and DC Official, they are the only one that doesn't pay a royalty for overseas sales. Think, America is the originator of superhero comics. Japan has manga, which we love. Europe has that cool ass shit, which we love, but we can't describe. What does that mean?
What I can't describe.
That's not cool shit. We can't describe that, but we move on. And what the fuck? They're a bunch of they're not paying creators a piece? Come on. Fuck this shit. This fucking shit. Also, merch, lunchboxes, and teas? Good luck. I got a bunch of DMs from people telling me I gotta be careful. Don't cross Marvel, they're a major player. The only two in the mainstream. Oh my god, fuck them. Like I give a flying fuck. Fuck Marvel Comics. Fuck anyone that I'm not indirectly working with. I love that caveat. Unless I know you're cool. You're
Crazy
cool. You're cool.
addition.
Well, because he goes on to say like, shout out to the editors, like they're good people. I'm not talking about them, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes, I love all caps my Marvel editors because they get you your books out to you on time. The direct staff has no control. They don't juggle the stupid fucking numbers. He continued, I'm gonna break it into simple ass fucking terms. You're an artist. You draw shit. You want to get paid for shit. Now, in the future, forever. You draw now and in the future, in countries everywhere, including the one you don't live in. Fuck this current Marvel contract. I'm too small in the tier and can't negotiate a better one for you. Those in control, those whose work pool, please work for the rest of us. DC isn't far from them because, after all, they're a conglomerate of things. Owned by WB doesn't help your argument. But when I ask for things, DC works with me. I've asked Marvel for, like, I swear, $75 page raise in the past 15 years. Minimum wage in CA is doing better than them. Probably in a decade. Even that asshole Trump will do better than Marvel given a month. I don't know what that means. What? Even
it sounded like he was fuming. He was just typing away. He was so mad.
Yeah.
This is a level of rage.
He's probably talking about like minimum wage, like national minimum wage would probably be raised more than Marvel page rates in the same amount of time.
The first San Diego
What does the
Comic-Con
Trump part mean, though?
The first San Diego Comic-Con I went to in like 2007, 2008, and I went up to his table and I talked to him for like 20 minutes and showed him because I loved his work, and I just showed him some of my stuff, and he gave me some good tips, and he sold me a print for like $20 and signed it. So he's all right by me. He was like,
Yeah,
So cool,
dude,
yeah.
I was on a panel with him once at Emerald City, and we were just fucking cutting it up, dude. It was the most fun I've ever had on a panel. Like the two of us were just shooting jokes off, and everybody, was having a good time. Like he's a cool dude.
Jason says Dustin was pissed that Japanese and French perverts are making bank. I'm a little mad at that too. Uncle Bubba says Conrad.
No, I thought that was so dope, though. Or yeah, keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, he says, I don't even need that shitty chump change, but I want to see how cheap they are. All this equaling maybe a royalty that's the, please, sir, may I have another 15 cents after you've made your 1,000 in things? No response. So what am I treading carefully for again? Seriously, I forget.
Hell yeah.
That was... I saw him today put out another thing that was like, so my only regret is that I didn't have better grammar on that.
Good. Yeah, when you're going crazy, firing something off when you're like the adrenaline's pumping, and then you're like you read it back and you're like, fuck.
Yeah, all the time.
Big shout out to him though for that. Like, I've never seen a relevant artist take those shots like that.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, it's annoying too. Like I know. Dio says, shout out Dustin, really encouraging of my work way back when. Okay, so was I. You don't shout out me ever, so what the fuck? No, but I was gonna say, like, I know, like, my rate at Marvel is like 10 years ago when I broke in was like $250, and I had a friend who just got a Marvel gig, and they offered him $250, which is like when I was young, I was like, this is incredible. I'm so rich.
It's not going up at all. Yeah,
it hasn't gone up in the 10 years, and he got them to raise it a little bit. But like he's not an entry level artist, my friend who just got work there. He was like he's been working for longer than me, Yeah. And so it's like it's kind of crazy that they're like, yeah, can we give you like the lowest amount of money? But like he said, DC isn't that much better. When I went to DC, they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna like pay you so much more money than Marvel, and I was like, damn, that's sick. I wonder how much I'm gonna get paid. Maybe it's gonna be like $275, maybe $300. Maybe I'll get $300 and like $10 a page. My rate was $250. They said, no, we're not giving you any more. I'm like, well, what the fuck was this about then? But, I was happy to do it. And then eventually they did something that was like so fucked up. Basically I had done something that never even came out. And they were like, well, don't worry, because the royalties on this will like make up for the fact that like I was going to ink. I was finishing up somebody's breakdowns, but I had to repencil everything and then ink everything. So I was basically using his layouts, but like doing everything. But they were like, oh, we can only pay you a finishing rate, which I learned was your ink rate and like a half or something. My ink rate is like $100. So like I thought I was in my head, I'm like, oh, for these 2-page spreads I'm doing, I'm making $500 each. And then they were like, yeah, you're going to make about $260 for each, So I was like devastated, but they were like, oh, we'll try to get you a little bit more money on your ink rate. It was $10 increase. But they're like, good thing is after all of this, you'll get $10 extra per page on this. So like for everything going forward, then they stopped hiring me a little bit after that, but that's okay.
Well, and I think there was also a promise of like the royalties on these are going to be good because they're printing them in everything.
Yeah, it was going to be in everything.
They never ended up they went a different direction, so it never came out.
Yeah.
And then the editor was like, oh, but I'll send you a couple absolute editions that you can sell for money. Like,
yeah, that's my guy. He was like,
crazy work, dude.
He was like,
I know he was trying to look out for you, but like,
yeah,
that was nuts, dude. That was absolutely nuts.
It was hilarious. And then he never sent it because then COVID happened, and he was like, I can't even get them.
Yeah,
that's my dog though, for real. I'm similar to Dustin, but shout out to my editors. I love all my editors. What was funny too was the people reacting to that, like Sean Gordon Murphy. I love it.
Oh, dude, that was rich.
SGM cannot help himself, dude. It's so fucking funny. He
was like, I found out I was blacklisted by Marvel years ago, and it's like, that's because you were talking shit on them, dude.
It's even funnier than that. He goes, seconded. This is why I'm more loyal to DC. I recently found out I'd been blacklisted from Marvel around 10 years ago. Tried to fix it without much success. Known for his diplomacy, SGM. Maybe if I offered to cut my DC rate 1/3 and take a 3rd-tier title for a few years, they'd consider hiring me. And then Rich Johnson says Murphy was, of course, exclusive to DC for a good chunk of that time. Yeah, you can't get unblacklisted. You're exclusive at DC. That's crazy.
No, but I remember he like early on, back when I used to like his art, he did these like this Wolverine alphabet thing on DeviantArt.
Oh,
This
I
was like
remember
in
that,
like 2012. Yeah, and
that
it was like
huge.
I remember that.
yeah, and
I remember
so
that.
he tried to collect them and sell them at shows. It was like a sketchbook kind of thing, and Marvel, I think, was like, you can't do
Right.
that.
Yeah.
And so so that was like he was talking on them for that. And then I remember him talking about how Marvel approached him and they were like trying to get him to do some work there. And he was, you know, rightfully so, like, okay, well, can you pay me X amount? And they were like, well, no, but we're Marvel. And he was like, well, you being Marvel doesn't pay my rent. So like, you know, but he was very vocal about that, which obviously big companies don't like when you do that. I don't think he was wrong for that. I'm glad he did that.
Yeah.
But you know, that's not going to get you in their good graces, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of other people in this article who like shared their experiences. The only other one that I found hilarious was Rob Liefeld, who said, "I'm sorry, I'll hire you for a cover and other work." Rob, you can't afford Dustin Wynn. Marvel can't afford them.
You know what was wild is that Zoe Thorogood, she posted on there and she said that they paid her $100 to do some like an outfit art, you know, concept art for a character, a design, whatever, and then they published it as a cover and never paid her for doing
cover
it as a
rate.
cover.
Yeah,
that's wild.
It is super nuts that they would do that. It was like for a variant, they were like, yeah, just design the costume, and she was like, $100 isn't very much. It's really not. Like,
no,
they would, you know, that's like such a like weird low number for that. But then to do it and then put in the bottom like design by Zoe Thorogood, and it's like, then people are like, oh, she sucks, she can't even draw, and it's like, well, she wasn't trying, she was just doing a design for somebody.
Yeah. And also, like, if they go on to use that design in like a cartoon or a movie or a video game or whatever, I mean, I read that's why Jen Bartel like quit doing stuff at Marvel and maybe comics in general, is because she was doing She-Hulk covers and they were using them for like Marvel Snap and not paying her anything, you know? So
Keegan Ray says Gleb talked about that and companies using DPSs as cover. Yeah, well,
I mean,
Gleb just hacks out his covers anyway, so I don't even really care. Like, I'm shedding no tears for the hack Gleb.
You know, like
Gleb Melna hack. That's crazy.
There were two separate occasions where they used one of my splash pages in the book, like in the Thanos book that I did, and in Separation Anxiety as well. Like they used those for covers for the second print, you know. And weirdly, I was kind of stoked because I felt like it was because I don't normally do covers there, so I was like, "Oh, cool! Like this is actually all of my art." So you know, so the only real positive for me on that one was like getting a like a higher value for my original art, you know, because that then doubled as a cover or whatever.
I remember one time
that's fucked though, because then like you don't even get royalties, you know, for covers either. So it's like if the thing does well and they think the image is good enough for a cover, it's like they should at least kick you like a half rate, you know, if they're going to use it for a cover.
I can sit here and talk all day about what I feel like I would like to get paid.
For sure, but I'm just saying in the conversation of like them doing you know, things don't seem above board, like I think it's relevant to mention that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of, I don't know, I like, I'll say this, I've never gotten a raise, you know.
Yeah, no, I only got a raise because of how badly I was, you know, screwed over on this one gig, and then, you know, like I said, I stopped working for them, but you know, semi-mutual. It doesn't really matter. I still fuck with DC. Obviously, I still love DC.
It's a big part of why I don't chase down work at either of the big two, because like I get paid more from other companies at this point, and it's like
same.
Yeah, or it's like why would I take a significant pay cut like to do a thing that, you know, and especially it's like they're not letting me write it, so I gotta draw Wolverine sitting down for 10 pages. Like, I'd rather just do my own thing and make more,
Theo
Sure.
says, honestly, Gleb gets paid for too many covers. That's what I'm saying. He's a hack. I was gonna say something. I read Dio's comment, threw me off.
Well, as someone who's never worked for Marvel or DC, I'll just say that come on, exploit me. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, listen, if Marvel or DC asked me if I would do something, I'd say yes, obviously. The thing is, they don't want me, so what?
But yeah, that's support Justin 100%, man. That was pretty cool.
I've done so much spec work for publishers to have it just amount to nothing. Like, I had a similar thing to Ramon's thing with those spreads where, like, I was pitching. This was actually 3 years ago to the day, because yesterday was the 3-year anniversary of my dog dying, and I was doing all this while she was like on her last legs. I did a pitch at Valiant for like a Bloodshot Ninjak team up, and it was fucking cool. And like, the company kept changing the priorities for which characters and stuff. So I had to, I like rewrote this pitch probably 3 or 4 times. And, to the editor, to their credit, the editors were like trying, like they were, under like poor management, who kept, the wind would change direction and go, we want this now. And then they'd have to relay it to me. So I go through all that. And that's right when Valiant was like, we're consolidating to 1 comic per month. And so it was like, okay, well, maybe it'll happen after this. And then they even like basically shut down production after that. And before that, it was like, oh, well, we'll get you a cover, like, to at least put some money in your pocket, which is like, it's appreciated, the effort, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, but I'm not getting paid. Like, I have to also do the cover. Like, it's not like I'm getting money for what I did, and you know what I mean? Or like some kind of a kill fee or something. It's like, oh, we'll give you more work. It's like, well, I still have to labor over that too, and then that didn't even end up happening, because they just like basically semi-folded. Now they're back under like a comic shop or small indie publisher is
Super
like
weird.
Has taken over production for them or something. Like, they basically are just outsourcing it to this small publisher. But yeah, I mean, I was like going through the worst time of my life trying to do that, and like, even the like, oh, we're sorry, here's this other thing you can do, didn't even pan out, So yeah, man, comics.
But Valiant actually, the old Valiant regime, the Bad Idea regime, the former, like a lot of the guys who went and made Bad Idea, they actually were like really cool. That was what I was thinking of earlier, because the Zoe thing reminded me of one time they had hit me up to do like an Exo Manowar thing. They're like, we have this idea where we want to have like dozens of Exo Manowars on one cover. So we're just having different artists draw Exo Manowar. So can you do one? And I was like, yeah, here you go, And so then they were like, oh, we love it. Oh, thanks so much. So they paid me for that. And then they were like, we want to use this as a single cover. Can we just pay you again for like a cover rate? And I was like, hell yeah, go ahead. This is incredible. Comics are amazing. That was obviously a long time ago, but Bad Idea is still kind of like that. They'll just like, that's why I like them so much, is they're just seem to be very appreciative. And I was talking about DC earlier, but DC also had hit some moments where I'm like, damn, this is sick. They hooked me up. You know what I mean? The only one who didn't really was Marvel. So I understand where Dustin's coming from, but I feel like there's been a couple companies that have really been like very, like, I don't want to like oversell like how like generous they were, but there have been times where I'm like, God damn, this is cool.
Really generous was that company that I was going to do that Dr. Disrespect thing for. When that fell apart, they gave me $1,000 for the designs, and then they hooked me up with a cover for Moist Critical's book.
Nice.
So
that's dope.
That was
Yeah.
Well, there's
I mean,
go ahead.
There are certain people within publishing companies that will always try to like find a loophole to like make it right when the company fucks you over, right? And that's great. But all in all, like, the company is never going to be looking to like hook people up. They're trying to make money for their shareholders, right? That's what it all comes down to.
Sophie says, I've never been fucked over harder by a publisher than Marvel. Whoops. But like DC 2 times had given, like 2 times where like I was going to be on a book and it didn't happen, like an actual book. 2 times they were like, just pencil as much as you can. We'll just pay you for it, even if it's not all the way done. Like for pencils. One time it was a kill fee, so it was like less than full amount. One time it was just like, here you go, you did it, and I was like, this is crazy. So like, yeah, I've had good experiences with them. Yeah, but Marvel was the only one where they like did fuck me pretty bad, where they were like, you're gonna be on this book, or probably. So I'm like, okay, great. I'm not gonna take any other work. So then it was like, every time I was like, every time it was like, or when it was time to announce the book, I kept asking them like, am I on this book? Am I on this book? And they're like, oh, we'll get back to you. We'll get back to you. One day I wake up and the book gets announced and it's obviously not me on it. And I was like, what the fuck? So I go to my email and the editor is like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I thought I had till like Monday to tell you. I didn't realize they were going to announce this on a Friday. And I'm like, well, you could have just told me any of the previous Mondays when I've been asking you about this book. I'm asking you like, oh, where's the script? What's going on? Nothing. But, you know, I've always felt like Marvel is like, they operate in chaos always. Like chaos and like, yeah, being extremely cheap. So I've always thrived in that environment. So like I didn't realize that other companies were not like that for most of my career when I started out. So I was like, this is cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't have a ton
And
of
I
experience with Marvel, but DC has always been really decent to me about stuff. So I will say, you know,
Yeah.
to second Dustin and you, and you know, like, yeah.
Well, on that note, we should probably start winding down because we've got 3 minutes left of what we normally end it. You guys got anything else you want to talk about?
Fuck Chuck Schumer.
Oh, Schumer?
Yeah.
Fuck Chuck.
Fucking-
What's Chuck up to?
What happened with him today?
He's kind of. I know it's not a political show,
It's not
So-
a political show.
but they're talking about him maybe like
What do you
breaking
guys
rank
want
and
to talk about?
You're talking about him breaking rank?
to help get this bill passed.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Sounds
so
about
fucking
right. Yeah.
Call your senators 202-224-3121. Call Chuck Schumer.
Yeah, I
and tell him
called
he's a
mine
beast.
today, got through, talked to somebody.
I've been pretty out of the loop on a deadline. What's the bill that you're talking about?
It's a spending bill. It's got a bunch of shit in it. It's just pretty
Typical
debilitating.
Republicans trying to ram through
Yeah.
some bullshit under like
like
a
that.
necessary vote.
Yeah, with like tax cuts for rich people and cutting of
Well, that always
social
goes great.
services. Yeah. And the Dems are pretty lock in step against it, except for a couple, and Schumer's one of them. It's him and
That's
Gillibrand.
insane.
Is that the one that that's like the continuing resolution or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So
this is what AOC says. She says, I think some in the Senate have convinced themselves that the backlash to folding will be limited to, quote unquote, the left and therefore ignorable. Those people are deeply and profoundly misreading the moment and the stakes. Virtually every swing district House Dem walking the plank to vote no for a reason. So
this is the one that the guy from our district, Thomas Massey, the Republican congressman, is now getting attacked by Trump because he's not supporting it. And so Trump is like, we'll get him primaried or whatever. And he was like, try, and Massey's a Republican. He's one of those guys that's like a libertarian. Like every time he enters office, he puts up a bill to abolish every department, like one of those dudes. But it is, clearly like he recognizes that this is just a ploy to like throw a bunch of money, like, around. So I think that's super interesting for, as a guy who doesn't really like Thomas Massey at all. I respect his like read of the thing, you know what I mean? So I guess shout out to a guy I don't like.
Yeah, it's nice when they act like they want to keep their jobs,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the dude I wasn't allowed to boo at the parade. My wife didn't want me to make a spectacle of it.
I remember that.
Well, where can they
Remember
follow
one
you
time-
guys?
Yeah, super low energy finale.
I remember one time I worked the front door of this nightclub and Jeb Bush was running for governor and he came walking down the street going to shake everybody's hand and he went to shake my hand and I didn't even fucking put my hand out and that was like my little form of rebellion, I was like,
Hell yeah.
I feel like we need to share some Rob Thomas, Santana stories real quick to really get the energy back up.
I gotta say I love handshake disrespect when somebody's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like my
Nah,
favorite.
I get
that.
The other day I was on my
Uh,
walk home, and this guy who was like this older dude was driving a Tesla, like an older Tesla, not like a Cybertruck. But he was like, he pulled up at the crosswalk, and he looked at me, and we made eye contact, and I just hit him with this one right here, like, you know, nah.
Thumbs
And
down.
the look on his face was like, oh my god, like this is, it just like it
Did
felt
I
really
just
good
get
to just be like,
discriminated
no,
against?
yeah. I thought I should have just flipped him off, but I didn't.
You did the right way. Probably the bird is.
Yeah, you gave him like the disappointed dad.
Yeah, because the bird is like they can just brush it off. It's like you're just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I thought. It was like, oh, that guy's a piece of shit. Like he was rude. I was hitting him with the like, you're just a disappointment to people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then
Just sad for you.
Even if he didn't like buy the car because he like fucks with Musk, like he would still be like, damn, I got to get rid of this thing because everyone's.
Yeah.
hating
I do
on
feel
me.
bad for people who were like they wanted to buy a nice car that was environmentally friendly, and
Yeah.
now they're like fucked. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta get rid of that right away, though. You know, you gotta sell that.
I don't know if anyone
got the money for it.
anymore, dude.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you got the money to have one, then you could probably trade it in to get something else. You know, go get like a nice Honda or something.
That's if the dealership will take it. That's the thing. At this point, they might be
Sure.
like, "We can't move those, dude. We got 3 on the lot right now." You know.
And then we put them out there and they get firebombed. It's crazy. It's
I'm on Blue Sky under my name. I'm on Instagram and YouTube. I've been making my own action figure heads with my new 3D printer, and I made some Ninja Turtles. I got 2 of them painted. I got 2 more on the way.
They look awesome.
Thank you, man. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing a thing where I sell them for people to like put on their existing figures. So I'm gonna have to start like a newsletter for that, and you know, but that's what I got coming up. A video on that, and I'm also gonna be doing a collection tour soon because I have a bunch of shit that I haven't done a collection tour since September of 2022. So I'm way overdue. People keep asking me to do one, so that'll be coming up. And yeah, other than that, I guess that's it.
nice.
Brian.
Blue Sky, Instagram, it's either my name or my tattoo shop, Illuminati Tattoo, is where you can kind of find me. I'm on my stuff goes from Instagram to Facebook automatically, but so you can find me there, but I'm not very active. So I got a Patreon, it's under my name, and I'm just working on a bunch of stuff. I've been doing some stuff recently. I just finished up Poison Ivy, and then I'll have some short stories coming out from, or at least one for EC Comics at Oni, which is pretty exciting because I'm a huge EC fan. And then supposed to start a Marvel thing here soon, so we'll see how if I said any of the wrong things, then now I don't have a job.
Nah. First of all, nobody watches this like that. Second of all,
I know,
I feel like we've been
pretty.
pretty fair about it. I thought.
Yeah.
I'm kind of goofing, but yeah, that's what I'm working on.
Well, shout out to our editors, and thank everybody for listening. Really appreciate it. It was fun to talk and hang out for a bit. And with that, hope you guys all have a good weekend or good weekend. Hope you guys see you next week.
Yeah. Good night.
Night.
Laters.